What's up, friends? It is Critical Mess. It's episode 43. It's the podcast where three sophisticated polymaths discuss movies that critics and audiences don't agree on, like tonight's film, The Ring. I'm Nick Honeywell. I'm here with Gris Griswold, Brian MC Culla, producer Ben. Say hello, gents.
What's up, guys?
Brian MC Culla here. I'm feeling nice and spooky tonight.
That's right.
Hold on.
Don't do that again.
He's not next to you.
Ah!
Careful now.
Well, where'd he come from?
All right, we're going to break the ice in that Halloween spirit. And this will be the last of our three-part Halloween series, I believe, right?
Yeah, it's been a fun ride.
It's been a good run.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So here's our icebreaker tonight. Simple, fun. Just want your first gut reaction. What horror movie icon antagonist do you think you'd have the best chance in a fight against? And I'm going to give you a multiple choice option here, and you can pick someone else if you want. But right here, I've got Michael Myers, of course, the Alien from the Alien franchise, Jason, Dracula, and Freddy Krueger. Who would you want to pick a fight against? Best chance of survival.
I mean, I'm not fucking with my nightmares. Like, Freddy Krueger's off. He's off the table for me.
Yeah, agreed.
His skill set's much greater than mine.
I mean, I want to say the Alien because I'm never going to be in space, but that sort of takes away from the heart of the question.
Will you have weapons or a flamethrower of any type, do you think?
Yeah. You can't say the xenomorph. No, I can't do that.
No. I'm going Michael Myers.
I was going to say the same thing.
I got to.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well,
Did you know this is a trend this week on TikTok? Like the joking trend to like, you see a set of stairs like down to a basement and then upstairs and it's got Michael Myers at the top and you have like Freddy Krueger and Mike, who's the other guy from
Jason
down in the basement and they go, which way are you going to survive, down or up? And I was like, it's like everybody was like saying, I'm running straight up through Michael Myers up those stairs.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? What would make your case for Jason?
Well, no, I'm not making a case. I'm going for Dracula.
That's where I was headed.
You know, because I feel like you could reason with him maybe a little bit. Like if you could have a good conversation with him. Maybe you pick a topic he's also into, and you could just
pick a topic.
Also,
He's
not.
He's sunlight. Sunlight really knocks him out.
There's ways
right,
to
that too. There's also So I feel like it would still be a tough fight, but Dracula would be my choice.
I see where you're coming from, and I do like. He kind of seems like the least monstrous of them. The one you could reason with. But I'm still gonna say Michael Myers because dude just got a knife, and it's like just be careful.
Just
Yeah.
That's how you defeat him.
Gotta pay attention.
Ow.
Just be careful.
Okay. Gris, did you answer that?
Yeah. Michael Myers.
he answered
Oh, you're
first.
going Michael
Yeah,
Myers.
Michael
Sorry.
Myers all day.
Here's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna swing it over to Gris for a special announcement.
criticalmisspodcast.com. You can find all of our most recent episodes on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, as well as our latest episode on YouTube, and all in a couple of Easter eggs. If you really know what you really dig around on there, find some Easter eggs.
Yeah, thanks, Gris.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Appreciate
Nailed it,
that.
Chris.
I saw the look of fear in
Thanks,
his
guys.
eyes, like he came unprepared to the test day and had
Always.
no idea what.
We're going to keep that going. You got this.
Okay, we've got one more really quick, new, fast segment here. It's going to be just called the Feedback Corner. And I received
Oh, yeah, let's do it. Let's just transparent.
I received
How much do we suck?
a small amount of feedback that I wanted to address that I thought was important. And it was related to my socks. And apparently my sock game has been
Wow.
off, and it needs to be toned down.
Toned down.
Toned
Toned
down.
down. I need to.
Wow.
I need to turn up my sock game by toning it down a little bit.
Okay.
So what we've done, I heard the white was really popping. It was the sock was popping.
Okay.
I have nothing but white socks on right now, so we're just going to have to live with it.
It's gonna pop. Mine's gonna pop a little more because it's a little closer to the camera.
Mm-hmm.
But so, anyways, I've gone with the black, sort of with a gray highlight sock tonight,
Wow.
and I'm hoping it's gonna kind of really stop distracting everyone from my
Thank
ankles.
God. I was really worried about that.
Yeah.
Can we call out who made that suggestion or that comment?
That's confidential.
All right.
Comment down
Thanks a
below
lot, Ben.
if you have suggestions on whether or not Nick's sock game is too loud or too quiet.
Now
Yeah.
I think he's showing too much angle.
Well,
Yeah.
just
That is
get
that is
used to it.
That's a
That's
lot of
even
angle.
more distracting. Is the
much
amount of
angle.
ankle you're showing?
Well,
I love that the feedback is so topical on what we talk about and the heart of kind of our pod, not just socks.
Yeah.
But give us
Listen,
whatever you got.
We'll take anything.
Any
Like,
communication.
subscribe, please.
we will take any feedback. We will. All right, we're going to be spoiling the movie tonight. And we also recommend maybe watch the movie. as you listen to the podcast, because we watch the movie as we do the podcast, and you might follow along. Might be fun. I don't know. So tonight we are talking about a film from the year of our Lord 2002. It is the final film in our 2024 Halloween series, and it is called The Ring.
What's on the table? Did you see it in your It looks like she's sleeping. Die. You see the ring. 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 You saw it.
Let's talk the numbers. This one did well. Shocker. Not quite as well as some of the other films we've talked about on this podcast, like Blair Witch Project. Obviously, that did better than pretty much every movie ever. Saw, which we talked about last time. Another one that did quite well, better than this. This one cost about $50, which is, I mean, for a horror movie in 2002, that's a budget right there. That's a healthy budget. And it took down about $250. Damn. So a success.
Pretty good.
Yeah, not a batshit crazy runaway,
Not bad at all.
unbelievable success, but a pretty big win there. This one directed by Gore Verbinski. You probably know him most from directing the first 3 Pirates of the Caribbean movies. He's directed a few other things. He's not super prolific, but he's got some other films under his belt. Rango is one.
I like The Weatherman a lot.
Weatherman, yep. Yeah, Rango's kind of an underrated movie, I think.
Very much.
The disastrous 2013 Lone Ranger.
Army Hammer and Leo,
Johnny Depp.
Johnny
and-
Depp.
Johnny Depp,
Yeah, Army Hammer. Yeah.
Does he just work with Johnny Depp a lot? Is that what I'm catching? Didn't
yeah.
Johnny
Apparently
Depp do
he
Rango?
does.
He did
Apparently he
Pirates.
does.
He did.
Pirates, yeah.
Yeah.
Screenplay for this film written by Aaron Kruger, who wrote several of the Transformers films. But this was based on a book written by the Japanese author Koji Suzuki. So, who was in the ring? And just want to be super clear here, just so everyone knows. We are talking about the 2002 American remake of a Japanese film of the same name from a few years. What was it, 3 or 4 years earlier?
98,
Like that.
so like 4 years
Yeah,
early.
4 years. So just being super clear here. But this one stars Naomi Watts, Martin Henderson, Brian Cox in all caps.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
all
we're
caps.
gonna
That's our boy.
talk all about Mr. Cox. He's a kind of a legend and
He's a
hero,
legend.
a hero to the podcast.
He's
I
a
guess.
legend to the podcast.
We did an
I would
entire
say.
episode on him.
Yeah, big Daddy Menelaus. He's the big boss.
Good day for the crows to die, or what was the thing?
Yeah, just a good day for the crows.
Crows. There's the crows.
Just
Not
a
to
good
die.
day for the crows. Yeah, first line of Troy, or first kind of line of dialogue. Also got David Dorfman, Shannon Cochran, and Daveigh Chase. So, quick refresher about the criteria for the movies we talk about on this podcast. So, movies got to be fresh with audiences and rotten with critics, or vice versa on Rotten Tomatoes, and the disparity needs to be 20% or so. So, on Rotten Tomatoes, The Ring is at 71% with critics and 48% with audiences. So we've got a decent little disparity here, and we've got a high critic, low audience this week.
Ooh,
so that's
it's been
fun.
a while.
Yeah, it's been a little while.
A little bit.
So that's fun.
Fun.
Yeah. So let's get right into it. First exposure to this film. How many times have we seen it over the years?
Probably high school for me. So it was probably freshman, sophomore year. I saw a lot of those movies back through high school. So this was one of those snuck in to catch that. Was it the PG-13 though? I don't think I had to sneak into this
It
one.
is
Yeah,
PG-13.
PG-13.
Yes.
I remember being horrifying, like just the uneasiness of this whole film. So I remember seeing that, and then I've probably seen it once since then. So
Yeah, saw it in high school. Saw it. No, actually, sorry. Saw it in. I would have been in college when it came out. Saw it in the theater, though. Is what I meant to say. And I feel like this is one of those movies that I revisit it every 5 years or so. So I mean, I've probably seen it 5 or 6 times. Yeah, so more than our last couple of movies.
All right. Yeah, one time last night. Whoop, let's go.
first and only
So
time.
excited about this.
Yes, sir. All right, this is Critical Mess. We are sponsored by. Oh shit, the koozie's covering it up. But Modelo, Modelo. That's who we are sponsored by. Also sponsored by, of course, the old staple, the old Elk.
The one and only.
Look at it. That bottle just looks extra good tonight. Why is that? It's like
I
extra
don't know.
clear.
It's like an HD.
Yeah, it is. It's
I
like
can't figure out why.
Yeah, it's more clear than usual or something. It's beautiful.
We've spent a few weeks away from it, so I think
It was time.
That's true.
It's time to come back.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah.
Seen one in all its glory.
Yeah, ambrosial.
What a form that bottle has.
An ambrosial whiskey. All right, time to rate. Time to rate this horror film.
Brian?
Let's hear it, Brian.
Well, I like the movie. I think I liked it just as much now as the first time I saw it. And I think it's really, really well made. I'm gonna be comparing this to The Ring from '98 Japanese a lot because I watched that recently as well. So, despite having seen that and this being a remake, I think it still needs to exist. Even though it's not a shot for shot remake, but it's very, very, very heavily inspired by the Japanese version. But again, it's made with really, really, really high quality of craft. I think the performances, for the most part, are good. I think it's really memorable. There's scenes in this movie that have stuck with me for 22 years.
Yeah. I
don't know what it is about the movie. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the subject matter or how it's shot or both, but there are visuals from this movie that really, really last. I love anything analog. I love that feel. It's that sort of ethereal, ephemeral kind of like what's in the airwaves, eerie kind of thing. And this movie really kind of leans into the whole analog thing. And then it's just a great story. And so for all of those reasons, I'm at a pretty good 77. So it's almost in my like highly recommend category, but it's firmly in my good category.
Yeah, that's high rated. I'm right there with you. I strongly agree. A lot of this movie is like seared in my brain. Like some of these scenes, like the stuff just lingers with you for so long. And so I definitely have it in like, I would highly recommend people to see this. And I think I'd probably give it a higher score now in this recent watch. Ooh. It's been a number of years. And I'm at 82.
82.
Which that seems up there, but I really enjoyed this. It held together.
Yeah. Nice.
You're very close to mine.
Ben, you want to just
yeah, I did 81.
81.
Damn it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
If nobody knows that we have a little inside, joke, if anybody ever matches scores, because we don't tell each other our scores. So if we match scores, we all have to finish our drinks.
One
on the
away
table.
from finishing your
Very
drink.
close.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm at a 60.
Interesting.
60. I think I would have. Well, don't be so disappointed. That's still fresh.
Yeah.
It's fresh.
It's fresh.
Yeah.
It's fresh. I just wanted to give you a hard time.
Just getting the eye.
No, you didn't get the eye from me. I respect it.
I would have rated this movie higher if I saw it 20 years ago. End of story.
It's okay.
Okay. That's what I was wondering because you're the fresh take. And
I'm sure of
that's
it.
true.
I'm sure of it. I'm sure it would have
Fresh watch.
I'm sure it would have affected me more. I'm sure that also, I've seen like Scary Movie and I've seen kind of the, I know
hard, yeah.
just kind of a little bit about the premise of this movie before I saw it. I knew there was some girl climbing out of a well with a great haircut.
Yep.
And like I knew a little bit about it that maybe spoiled it a little bit in a way.
Yeah.
So I thought it was pretty good though, honestly. I thought it was a decent horror movie. I thought it was a slightly above average horror movie.
I think what I'm going to be really curious to hear in the room tonight is not like I feel like we all like the movie. We all recognize that it's not a bad movie. I'm going to be really interested to hear what people didn't like about it. That's what I'm most interested in tonight.
For sure. All right. Well, I think some people are also interested in why critics and audiences don't agree on this movie. And Brian's usually in charge of the critic talk. He's a critic of the critics, is what we like to call him.
Yep. And I'm with the people.
Those pretentious bastards.
So yeah, what did they have to say about this one? They liked it.
Yeah, they did. There was a lot of comparison to the original. Almost every critic needed everyone to know that they had seen the original.
Of course,
you know what I mean?
Obviously.
Which kind of started to get a little old, although it makes sense. But I can't read that. I don't want to misquote them here. Consensus. With little gore and a lot of creepy visuals, The Ring gets under your skin, thanks to director Gore Verbinski's haunting sense of atmosphere and an impassioned performance from Naomi Watts. Keith Phillips, AV Club. Nope. Keith Phipps.
Nope.
I need another set of readers that goes on top of these readers. Keith
like in
Phipps,
Spy Kids
AV
when
Club.
the things just keep...
And hence, Gore Verbinski creates an air of dread that begins with the first scene and never lets up. subtly incorporating elements from the current wave of Japanese horror films along the way. So, did this movie give you an air of dread at all? We talked about. You say, was this movie scary? And I'm always caveating, well, what do you mean?
I would say that's what it did best out of all the sort of horror, scary adjectives. Mm-hmm. Dread was really what it did pretty well. It was really trying to give a lot of dread and succeeding mostly, I think.
Yeah, it just kind of creeped me out. Like just a lot of these scenes just held on too long, and just the imagery was just really strong. So I get it.
Mark Dinning, Empire Magazine. As a concept, it's flawed. As a remake, it's good. As modern horror, it's a firecracker. So that's interesting because it's almost like he's saying, because I think there was like a 1991 book that was written, and then the Japanese movie was made based on that book, and then this was made based on the Japanese movie. So it's kind of like a third retelling. So he's saying as a concept, it's flawed. We don't have to get into that right now. I think we'll probably get into that in Hot Pocket or later on. But as a concept, it's flawed. Let's put a pin in that. I don't necessarily think I agree with him there. But then he says, as a remake, it's good. As modern horror, it's a firecracker. And I want to focus on modern horror. Okay, so this is 2002. Let's think about horror that's coming out. That's Paranormal Activity. That's before like things like
Scream.
Insidious, Conjuring, things like that. Yep. It's kind of the changing. You have like 80s campy horror, then you have 90s kind of reinvents horror, and then you have early 2000s sort of, I think, reinvents it again. And we get in this modern horror. And I think now we're kind of in a different era. But my question is, what are your thoughts on modern horror? What does that mean to you when you hear modern horror? And is this a good example of it?
I mean, this is 22 years old. I don't know how I would define modern horror. I feel like modern horror nowadays is just going for absolute horrific imagery of just bloodbath again, like old school thrasher films of the 80s. So I think that's what they're coming back to nowadays. That's what I think of as modern horror, like nowadays.
I just feel, and I'll give you a chance to talk. Sorry, Nick, but to answer that, I feel like modern horror, we've moved past the slasher.
Yeah.
Do you feel like maybe that's what modern horror
I
would
think
be?
that's what it's coming back to now, though. In like
It's coming back to the slasher.
like with the Terrifier movies, with like these movies that are just intensely horrifying visuals towards just gore and guts and everything. I feel like we're coming back to an extreme version of the 80s horror slashers.
Yeah. So when I think about like modern horror, like Robert Eggers and Ari Aster, right, are kind of the guys, I feel like, that are kind of leading on the leading edge of the genre. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this movie is, I can see some influence of this kind of movie on how they make movies. So I guess in a way it is sort of proto-modern horror.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just realized we're on YouTube.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll cut it too.
I was making such a good point.
I know, damn it.
He was. You were on a roll. I was listening.
Kids that I told to not run across the floor, running across the floor.
Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, and I think that this, to me, seems like a precursor to the Robert Eggers, Ari Aster, more like atmospheric kind of
atmospheric
how to make you
is
feel.
a good word.
Like how to make you feel. Yeah.
And the dread.
Yeah.
It's very dreadful. It's like
that's kind of what I was getting at.
Is. Yeah. Yep.
For sure. So then Trevor Johnston, Time Out. Not everything it might have been then, but decent enough to have you tracking down the original. I didn't really have a thought on that. I wrote a note. Great writing. I think I said that his review was great writing.
You said his review was great writing.
Doesn't seem like great writing.
I will say, it did make me want to track down the original.
Tracking down. That's why I wrote that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Tracking down the original because of the whole all the tracking stuff on the analog.
That makes sense.
Good job, Trevor. Sorry,
good one, Trevor.
Sorry, I missed your pun.
Also, in the original tracking, they explain tracking and like how there's extra information on the sides of the tape,
on the edges of the film,
and they don't explain that at all in this new one.
So you disagree. I 100%.
I thought they did explain that.
They explained it in that was actually one of my points.
Maybe it's the opposite.
Yeah, in that was one of the things I liked better about this movie than the Japanese one. Was this one? It risked over explaining. But it didn't. It just stopped short, and it gave you sort of this like, whoa, how does a VHS tape work? And it brings it into real life because it's like, oh, maybe my tape is cursed or whatever. So yeah, they explain all the tracking stuff. Not that it's 100% realistic, but
Ben, did you like there was a filmmaker on this to help you explain that? That character was just made to be a filmmaker in Seattle or whatever he's at.
Yeah.
Nev Pierce, BBC.com. Gore Verbinski creates beautifully composed pictures of unpleasantness throughout, moments that sneak around the memory for days after viewing. Guys, does this movie stay with you after viewing?
That was well written.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's really well worded.
Kenneth Turin, Los Angeles Times. It's up to Watts to lend credibility to this strange scenario, and her presence succeeds in making us believe. What did we think of Naomi Watts' performance in this?
I thought it was really good.
Thought it was not amazing.
Oh.
I thought it wasn't like a disaster.
Yeah.
But I thought, especially like the first couple scenes with her, were kind of like, ooh. I didn't think that her acting was great.
Okay.
So I don't think maybe she's the greatest actress in the world. But like I said, not like it didn't ruin anything for me. But yeah,
She for sure carried the movie for me.
Yeah.
I think she...
I thought she got better as the film went on.
Okay, sure.
That
sure.
is typical with some actors. They'll kind of warm up and become more comfortable in that role as the film goes on, especially if they shoot it in chronological order or within a
She's
shoot.
really good at being in distress. They cast her well for that. Roger Ebert. Rarely has a more serious effort produced a less serious result. Wah, wah. Nice sound effect, Ben. Mike D'Angelo, timeout. Boasts a real heartstopper of a finale, an uncanny phosphor nightmare that depicts a marrow-deep fear shared by every kid who grew up in the video age. Does this movie hold up for people that didn't grow up in the video age?
It's hard to say.
I think it actually did age well because a lot of the reviews on the audience side that I read were from the last 4 or 5 years. I'm assuming, but these are just new people coming to this film for the first time. A lot of I had to scroll a few pages before I saw a negative review, which is weird because
I did too.
Audiences were negative.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I just we'll talk about that more later, I think.
Yeah.
But I wondered, like, is this just a timepiece that like we got because we grew up with CRTs and analog VCRs and all that? I don't think so. I think it holds up.
I think it holds up. Yeah.
And then my favorite one, Jay Boyer, our Orlando Sentinel. The film's murkiness and muted colors suggest the malaise of the treacherous limbo into which the characters wander. I love how atmospheric that is. And
Would you just read that one more time?
I wholeheartedly agree with it. The film's murkiness and muted colors suggest the malaise of the treacherous limbo into which the characters wander. It felt very, very apt to me. So
Yeah.
just wanted to read that.
Okay.
There's actually a thing about that. They limited the shadows that the characters cast.
Yeah, I'm glad you're bringing that up.
Yeah.
in order to make it feel more like they're in an ethereal space where they don't have, like, they're kind of in limbo. So
And
that
somehow
is very
the way
fitting.
I don't know if any of you guys read the Wikipedia article, and I'm going to totally butcher this, but somehow the way they shot it, they sort of like committed to how the filters were being used, so that it wasn't like done in post. It was like done like how they like actually shot it this
Oh.
way.
Yeah.
So they like couldn't really change that how it looked in post.
Yeah, I mean, does The Ring have more of a green filter than even The Matrix?
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
So the critics say not as good as the original, but a faithful adaptation with decent quality and craft. There's your critics.
Okay. All right. So audience-wise, so this is the weird thing. I had to scroll back a decent bit. So I think a lot of the newer reviews, like I said, were mostly positive, like a lot of 4 or 5 out of 5 stars. This one's a 1 out of 5 from MS. Meh, put me to sleep. I assume the original is better. Now, would you just assume the original better if you just got bored of this film?
I mean,
Originals are usually better.
I mean, for the people that have seen both, I have not seen the original. So
I guess I would say that person's probably just assuming it's better because they didn't like it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're just giving the original the benefit of the doubt. Maybe
I'm sure I can appreciate if I watched the original, I would appreciate it. But I think this one, having that big of a budget, this many faces and names that I recognize that are really good actors, I think that helps production value, all those things. Visually, this movie is stunning. So
this movie is a better made movie than the
for
original in every way.
okay,
But the original was first.
Right.
yep.
So
Jalen S, 1.5 stars. I don't know why, but this movie rubbed me the wrong way, and it also handles mental health awfully.
mental
Mental health. Yes.
with
Did
Becca.
you not catch any of this stuff with the child
Becca
and the
stuff, yeah.
Yes. Just yeah.
They are kind of right, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, do you just go
Both
crazy?
kids in this movie. Yeah.
But that's like part. But that they.
Part of the plot, though.
That doesn't bother me that they're handling it wrong. I mean, they are, but that makes the movie.
I don't even know if they are handling it wrong. I mean, well, yeah. Yeah, they are because of the way they treated Samara when she was okay. But
the father was abusive.
Spoiler
the mother
alert,
was
she was a demon.
psychotic.
She's a demon.
Yeah.
Like
From
I know,
birth,
like
they
that.
mentioned. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I don't have sympathy for demons.
No, but
Demon
demons,
child.
they might need mental health care.
Yeah.
as
Hey,
well?
man.
I know,
Wait, yeah.
but you're not going to treat them like a person. You're going to put them in chains in the middle of a room at the very least.
Right. That's
Very
their
least-
care.
They're a demon.
I mean, they
Yeah.
sent him
Yeah,
to
that's fair.
They sent her to a psychotic ward.
At least they tried to help the demon.
help. That's a strong word. Okay.
True.
Grady K, give it a half star out of 5. I was literally so bored.
I read that one. Yeah.
Do we think this is a boring film? I feel like I was
this
just.
movie's a yarn. It's a detective story. It's
Yeah.
unraveling as you go, and it's like I was always in every frame of this
Yeah.
movie. I'm like, what's going to happen next? Where are they going?
I like how
Disagree.
I like how we're watching this now, and they're replaying the tape as she's watching it. And this is the part that I think is so. You see the clips; they're 1 second each. There's like the 7 fingers in a box. There's like the flaming tree, and as the movie goes on, there's these quick vignettes of the shots again and again and again, and you're getting more information. Like it, just
I have to say that
I was so
the
intrigued
tape
by it.
that they watched,
Yeah.
the tape, they show it both in this and the original, and I'm no shade on the original, but they did a really, really good job with what you see on the, because they also show the full tape in the original, and it's also very unsettling, and it's really well done, but it's even better.
Yeah,
here.
I think it's incredible. I think it was just really well done how they mixed it throughout the whole film. It just made you continuously feel uneasy, and then you learn more visually because you're trying to digest as much as you can. This is by an unknown, 2 out of 5. More slow and dramatic than anything. I can't believe this movie was talked about so much back in the day. So obviously that's a recent review in the last 5 years or so. But do you think it was too hyped up for the time and doesn't adapt to modern audiences?
I mean, it's like Nick was like kind of the whole thing with Nick. Nick never saw it, so he didn't necessarily have that nostalgia factor that the rest of us had. So I guess I can't really fairly answer that. But I would say, for me, it feels like it held up. But you know, I
strongly agree it held up.
So,
yeah. 2.5 out of 5. Again from an unknown. Nice drama, nice mystery, but where is the horror? Is this a horror? You got to be kidding me.
It's definitely a horror movie.
Definitely a horror film.
It's not
right?
a slasher, but it's for sure a horror
Now,
movie.
one thing I'll talk about later, I'm sure, but to dock it was just the blatant jump scares. I think that was one thing that I feel like was a executive decision to throw in these extreme loud noises while someone's opening a box or.
There weren't too many.
There were,
I mean, there were
I
there were a
can
couple
name like a
false
handful.
ones.
There were a
Yeah.
couple, but
Yeah.
I didn't think they abused that.
Yeah,
too much.
I don't think they did.
I feel like there were at least 4 or 5 where I was just like blatantly in my face. The volume was extremely loud in comparison to everything else. So, but that's just me.
The one jump scare that paid off was the girl that they cut to where she's in the closet and her face is all deformed.
Yeah, they're revealing things.
Oh, right.
That was an
a-
actual jump scare that
that
paid
was
off.
legit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the rest of there were quite a few that were just like
Yeah.
somebody opening a door or something.
Yeah, but those are earned jump scares because you're seeing, because first of all, they show you what happens to the girl, but they don't show you,
Yeah.
they kind of don't really show
Yeah,
you.
they do really
Then
mask
way
that.
later, they go
Yeah.
back and they show you a clip of her in the closet like that when you're not ready for it. And I
Right.
love how they did that. I love how they waited
that
for the
scared
reveal.
the
They
shit
did the
out of me.
same thing with him. What's the guy's name?
Noah.
Noah. The same thing with Noah. You know, you see that super famous, which I know we'll probably get into a hot pocket on, when the girl crawls out of the TV, but they never show his face until way later, and then they show it, and so they build it up. You know what I mean? It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. Last one, half star out of 5. Bring your watch. Give you something to mourn over when you're waiting for the movie to end.
Okay,
That's aggressive,
It's good.
but
That's well written. Good job.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
actually a better
That's a critic in disguise. I'm sorry, but I just got to read a couple here.
let's hear
Kalu L. Absolutely not a horror.
It's a jump scare right there.
Yeah, you got me.
For the whole movie is about investigating the origin of the tape, which led to a crime. Only at the last 5 minutes you get to see the creepy monster. So apparently Kalu L needs there to just be creepy monsters for the whole movie for it to be classified in the horror genre.
I agree. This movie is not a horror.
But it is a horror.
A horror or.
Salin G. Biggest waste of time. I'd give it a half star if I could. Only one minor jump scare. The rest, bollocks. I am pissed off. I am crawling out of my skin with anger. I can't take it. This film is so bad I might jump down a well myself.
Wow.
All right, go for it, buddy. I mean, also, you can give it a half star. I've read a few.
I know, yeah.
So,
Anonymous. This is a real review. Sucks rings, ring emoji.
oh, I did see this
Sucks
one.
rings, ring emoji. Sucks rings, ring emoji. Sucks rings, ring emoji. Then a lips emoji. What's Among Us backwards? Saganma rings, but also like it's PG-13.
This was a great PG-13. I'm
Just
sorry.
gonna leave that one.
And I was
there.
like, I'll smoke what they're smoking.
I know. I was intrigued.
Well, yeah, really. Well
And
written.
finally, the last one, obviously this week's proof that the audience rating is more wrong than the critic rating. Dex TDM. I don't know why it says I rated this because I never saw it. Since I can't delete my ratings, I'll just say 2.5 stars. That's what your audience score is based on. Idiots.
This is Brian's wet dream. Just the
that's
the
so
fact that
funny.
all the audiences are just
Hey,
morons.
they don't have to put their shit on the internet.
So
That's all
good.
I'm saying.
But we benefit from it.
We sure do.
Oh, man.
Okay, this is Critical Mess. We're talking The Ring. I'm here with Brian. I'm here with Gris. I'm here with producer Ben. And now we're going to move on to a segment. Oh, and we're sponsored by Modelo and Old Elk, obviously. Ambrosial as always. And we're moving on to
Buttery.
Buttery. That's right. Peerless. I think we've called
Peerless.
it. Peerless. Flip the script. That's the segment that we're moving on to next. So if we gave the film...
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Thanks.
That was a little late on that.
No, it's
a little
good.
bit. A little bit.
It's really good.
Never
That's
too
our new
late to
sound
play
effect. Anyways, if we gave the film a good review, we're going to talk about what we didn't like and vice versa. So I'll start us off here a little bit. So
hear it.
ultimately, a good review I gave this movie. Here's what I didn't like about this movie. We talk a lot on this podcast about movies making you feel something. This movie didn't make me feel a whole lot. Kind of made me, the dread was by far the strongest thing it made me feel, and it had a sense of dread, and I appreciated that. But I will say I thought the sense of dread felt kind of forced sometimes. It was trying so hard to be creepy with the tape, like just putting together this pastiche of creepy things, right? Like it's just that ultimately it was like you're trying so hard to be creepy with like this kind of over crank stuff and this kind of like, you know, millipedes and like all this unsettling imagery. It's like you're just trying, and black and white. It's like you're really trying, and I appreciate their trying. And it actually kind of, and they didn't fail. I'm not going to say they failed, but I could just tell how hard they were trying. So that was kind of a thing for me.
You never want to have the feeling of knowing that a movie's trying hard.
Right, it took me out of it a little bit.
I
I,
agree.
I feel you there.
Yeah. But like I said, the vignettes were still unsettling for sure.
Yep.
And then I guess I would also say I do agree. I think one or two of the reviews said something about it being maybe a little slow, a little long. Could have taken 20 minutes out of this. It's a 2-hour movie.
The Japanese movie, which was almost the exact same plot points, was like an hour 38.
Yeah.
So I think this could have also been an hour 38.
Yeah, could have been tighter. Could have been
Way
tighter.
tighter.
Agreed.
Yeah. And then I guess the other thing I'll throw out just to round it out is I did think that some of the acting was not, and I do think, and I'll stand by what I said. I didn't think Naomi Watts was great, but I thought she was kind of bad in the start, and I thought she got better and warmed up, and as things got more dramatic, she got better.
I guess better than the other way around, right?
Yeah, definitely. But some of the acting was just not great in this movie overall. You don't really get a lot of great acting in horror movies. I get that. The little kid was just, we'll talk about him more.
Come on, a $50 million budget.
in the
You
Hot
should be
Pocket.
getting some pretty damn good
But
acting.
I just, kids are always usually just not great actors. I guess I'll say this. I generally don't like when kids are part of a film.
Yeah, I know.
Tell us more. Yeah,
Period.
tell us more.
I just don't. They're just not good
What's your
actors
take on
usually.
kids?
I just don't like.
It's more the exception when they are. Like you take a movie like A Christmas Story, which has like some of the absolute
There
best
are good
performances.
kid act- yeah,
But
yeah.
it's rare. It's rare.
Right. I feel like a lot of times they distract
100%
from the
agree.
movie.
I find myself when I see a kid actor going, okay, I'm rooting for this kid to be a good actor,
Yeah.
and they always disappoint me. Almost always.
Haley Joel Osment and what's the one with Denzel Washington that we reviewed?
Man on Fire.
Man on Fire.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Dakota Fanning.
Dakota Fanning.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this might be a hot take, but I'm not a huge Haley Joel Osment fan. I don't even really think he's a very good actor.
Yeah,
I
I'm
know
kinda with you on that.
that's a hot
He's
take.
making a hot comeback in his old
but
age.
guys,
now.
there's a lot of way better child actors.
They
than
can't
him.
all be the kid in the Christmas Story.
I know. That's the thing. Is that's
Yeah, Ralphie crushes. I wish I could think of his
and,
name.
and
but I
Ralphie's
can't.
brother, and
There's great
the bullies.
there's
kid
something weird.
actors in that movie.
the
Yeah.
kid who sticks his tongue on the pole. Like
Those kids are great.
And
Is
then
it
take a movie
weird-
like Hook. Look at all the
Yeah,
kid
Hook
actors.
has
in
Is it
great
weird to
kid
think
acting,
that all the
yeah.
kid acting from like that era, the old school like Hook, the late 80s, early 90s was just unbelievable. And then we just skipped 20, 30, 40 years. And then I feel like kid actors nowadays are really good. And I hear a lot of veteran actors now saying that as well. And like in the last few years, that kid actors are coming up.
You know what it is? It's not the actor, it's the director. Steven Spielberg
true.
can
Yeah.
direct children. Think about the
Yeah.
Jurassic Park kids. Think
I
about Haley
do
Joel Osment.
They're really good.
Think
I
about
do
Haley Joel
strongly
Osment
believe
in
that.
AI. He's way better in AI
Yep.
than Sixth Sense, in my opinion.
Yep.
Think about E.T. Think about Elliot.
Poltergeist.
Drew Barrymore. Yeah. Maybe Steven
Yeah.
Spielberg's the answer.
Yeah. I think the director, the writing, everything has to do with that.
Bottom
Are we
line,
in a hot pocket?
not quite yet.
Hot
But
pocket.
the child acting in this movie,
Sure.
not great.
Not great.
Yep.
Not
Okay.
great. That's where we're going to leave that. So that's my flipping.
Okay.
And I'll just go right off of yours.
Yeah.
I'm flipping negative. The first thing on my list was the kid acting.
Yeah.
I couldn't. It was like fingernails on a chalkboard. God bless him. He did so much better than I could. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to knock him, but it took me out of it. And then this sounds superficial, but hey, it is. Naomi Watts' wardrobe. Yeesh.
Incredible.
No.
Incredible early 2000s wardrobe.
Felt of the time.
Look at that. It's very of the time. Look what she's wearing.
the
Corduroy
low-
pants with
Yeah.
a.
Remember low-rise pants?
Low rise
Oh, man.
everything. Yeah, she's got low rise.
This outfit in particular, just I can't abide it. And then I also had the fact that it's so close to the original Ringu or the Ring.
Ringu,
I'm not sure how I feel about that. Jury's out. But I just jotted that down in this section.
That it was
Felt
so
like
close to the original?
Yeah, because it was
Yeah.
so close to the original. I wondered, is that a really good thing or a really terrible thing? It feels like uninspired somewhat, but
That's how I felt.
then again, it made for a good movie. So I don't know how I feel about that.
What do you think about the comparison of like The Force Awakens to New Hope, and how the comparison of it is literally the exact same kind of rough storyline, but one is visually more to date and more up to, like, everything looks cleaner and more interesting, and like visual effects are better.
I think you have a very, very loose.
because I know that was a topic of discussion for that film. So
you have a very loose basis from one to the other, but they are not the same movie at all. They have completely different characters motivated by completely different things with different arcs. And yeah, there's a big Death Star they destroy, and yeah, there's a kid who comes from nothing. And
Right. That's what I'm saying.
If you want
Basically,
if you
yes.
want to clown on that movie, you can scrounge up ties. But I think that's lazy. I think they're very different movies from each other.
Yeah.
Not like this. This is
No.
This
is
I- yeah,
so
from what
strong.
I've
Trust me.
understood,
Just
it's
go
like
watch.
beat
Just
for
go watch
beat.
the first 5 minutes
Yeah.
of The Ring, and you'll be like, "Oh, they're the exact same movie."
Yeah.
Peter Billingsley played Ralphie.
Oh, thank
Peter
you.
Billingsley.
Thank you. We got to shout him
Billingsley.
out.
Yeah.
Great work.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
For me, flipping the script negative because I'm at an 82. This, I think, just had way too many characters. It was too long. They could have really cut this down from the number of people they're jumping in and out of at the psych wards to the random hotel attendant to the psychiatric ward to all these things. They could have cut a lot of that out and made this a lot more efficient. So I think that's one of my biggest things. Child actor, I know you guys put on it already. He was rough. He was just really awkward and just weird for, I don't know if it helped the plot. I think there were enough weird, dark, twisted people in this film to tie on to. They don't need to make him that extreme. But that's all I got.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Boy, that's just closure. Whatever we said is authoritative when you hear that.
And I
sound
just like
effect.
that heavy
good.
bass at the end. It just rumbles. Yeah.
I let it hang on a little longer.
Yeah, no, just let it hang.
Just let it hang.
Yeah, I like that. We got another segment coming up. Brand new segment. Brand new segment.
Brand new.
Brand new. It's called Marky Mess.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
There it is. It's a segment where we rename the film. So I have a few. I've really only got one I'm really proud of. We'll save it till the end. But
Oh,
I've got kind of 3 categories of names.
oh wow, okay,
all right. Somebody's coming in big for this one.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
have very
Why
many.
don't you? Yeah, why don't you start this off?
So my first category is my old shtick of other movie titles that this could have been named. And I'll give you the first one, What Lies Beneath.
Good.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
yeah,
Okay.
very good.
In fact, I'll give you a couple since
Give me
I've got some.
give us a
Yeah,
couple.
yeah, yeah.
We're already on. Yeah, we're ready.
The Lighthouse.
Yeah.
Horse Girl. You guys ever seen
that-
Horse Girl with old girl from shit.
No
Trust me, it's a movie.
Yeah, we'll trust you.
There's a movie
Yeah.
called Horse Girl. Ben,
Sounds
look
great.
it up.
I got
Ben,
you.
look it up.
The Island.
Yeah, okay.
Here's a couple. I Saw the TV Glow. You guys heard of that movie?
Uh huh.
Yeah.
No.
And then Lady in the Water.
Oh,
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah. Okay.
What about The Shape of Water?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Stretching a little bit, but yeah.
So did you find it?
Horse Girl starring Allison Brie.
Alison Brie.
And Molly Shannon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting movie. Yeah. Okay.
Nice. I'll start off with a couple. VHS and Chill. Wishing You Well. You got it.
I love the
You got
puns.
that one.
Bring the puns on.
Yep. Wishing you well. VHS and chill, and then wishing you well.
Yeah,
That's a good
those are
one.
good. I like them.
Yeah.
I got a VHS.
I got a couple more,
one
but
too,
you go
by
ahead.
the way.
Yeah, we haven't got to Tharks yet, but I'll start off with one that relates to Tharks. Okay. How about Noah's Ark?
Oh, yeah, that's great. That's funny because my marquee mess on a couple ones ago was Noah's Flat Ark, and now we've got a Noah's Ark. Which,
Yes.
dang it, why didn't I think of that?
Nice.
Damn it.
Wet and Wild.
Keep going. I'll let you guys. I said a lot.
What you got?
Here's another. This one could be like a legit title for the movie. Unwell.
Okay.
Unwell.
I've actually got some legit titles I wanted to.
I got this. This is the best title I got. Be Kind, Rewind.
Be Kind, Rewind. Yeah.
There you go.
That's all I got.
Good.
Here's
Also another movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly, guys. So let's just real quick. This movie's called The Ring. Okay. No one in this movie is wearing or it doesn't have anything to do with a ring. Okay. It has to do with a well. Mm-hmm. Have we stopped to consider why this is called The Ring?
Did you think of, well, the phone rings.
Wait a minute.
Oh, is that? I didn't even think about that.
Wait, are we really? Are we contemplating this right now?
I actually didn't
Are
think
you
about
curious?
that. You're talking about the ring when the phone rings?
There's
When the
possibly a million circles.
There's
in this movie.
all right. So I had an alternate
Correct,
title.
but why isn't it called The Circle? Like, why is it The Ring? Why? What's
'Cause it's a ring around the.
Hang on.
Well, a ring around the sun,
Let me
a ring
back
around
up.
the-
I'm not saying that it shouldn't be called The Ring, but I'm curious why they chose The Ring instead of these next 8 movies. Like, there's a lot. Like, why wasn't it called The Well?
Yeah, The Ring is not the best title. Let's go ahead
Thank
and
you.
say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was crazy.
Okay. I thought you were crazy for a minute.
I mean,
Just
it could be-
wondering why
But
it
it
was
does
called
have
the
a
ring
nice
because
subtle
it is a
title. It's
ring.
kind of,
It's a circle.
obviously, to me, it was the two things. It was the ring, which is at the bottom of the well, obviously,
Yeah.
becomes a ring,
Yes.
the ring of light, and the phone ringing.
I think the phone
that
ring
to me
is
was
also
kind
the
of
call that you
what-
get.
I didn't think
But-
about the phone
yeah.
ring.
But I
That's
agree,
the
it's
one
not.
I also
yeah,
think
not the
that a
greatest.
ring is very symbolic. It's very like full circle. It's so I think that's what I don't know.
I think you're reaching there. I think
I don't know, man. This movie has a lot of visual cues. That we
Sure,
haven't even
but
talked
it could have
about.
been called The Ladder, or it could have been called The Tape,
Ladder.
or The TV, or it could have been called any of the things that were like central to the point. I'm not saying The Ring's a bad name. I'm just saying, could have been called.
Could have been better.
Could have been called White Noise. Could have been called 7 Days. Could have been called Shelter Mountain. That would, like some cool.
Shelter Mountain.
Yeah, that would
I
be a
got
cool
one.
name.
Family Video.
Yeah, there you go.
That's so good.
Damn.
That's so freaking good.
That's really
a good
good.
one.
Dang.
Me? Okay.
Yeah.
How
It's
about
on you. I'm out.
How about well shit? That's last call. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
I've got some funny ones. How about
Yeah.
So the girl's name's what was her name? Samara.
Samara.
So I got Samara gonna die. I got The Sixth Sense 2. Another kid sees dead people. I got VHS, like acronym VHS.
Yeah, I had a lot
Very
of those.
hairy and scary. Analog.
There you go.
Anna.
Yeah.
Nice.
I get it.
And then my last one, Ricky Tiki Tavi, No Sai Rimbo, Cherry Berry Rucci, Pitberry Pembo.
Nice.
That's nice.
Ricky Tiki Tab. He was a mongoose, right?
No.
Or Ricky. I'm thinking of Ricky.
Tiki Tiki Tavi. No,
Yeah.
that's what I meant to say.
Sorry.
Tiki Tiki Tavi, No Sai Rimbo, Cherry Berry Rucci, Pitberry Pembo. That's the name. You don't. You've
you've
never
lost
read
me
the
No
completely.
fucking clue
about
what
the
he's
kid-
talking
about
about.
the Chinese kid who falls in the well and they have to go get the kid out of the well.
No idea.
No, I don't know.
Fucking fell
no.
so flat. I'm so disappointed.
Sorry. That's okay.
There might be one listener out
mine
there
always
that's
go
laughing their ass
fall
off
flat.
right now.
I grew up
gotta be.
religious.
Right.
I lived a very sheltered life.
All right, guys. I got a couple more. Ring a ding ding. Really bad hair day. There's a heretic.
Yes.
Heretic.
HAIR a
Nice.
tick.
Heretic. And here's the one I am proud of, guys. I got a little dirtiness in there, and I think I made it work. I think I made it work.
What do we got?
Hex tape.
Oh, that's good.
That's
That's
pretty
good.
Hex
Pretty
tape.
good.
Yeah.
Apt.
Nice.
Okay.
Way to
That's Marky Mess.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
I like it.
You're listening to Critical Mass with Brian, Chris, Ben. Sponsored by Modelo. Sponsored by Old Elk, the ambrosial of ambrosial, peerless, buttery whiskeys. And we're going to move on to our most reviled segment. It's called Tharks. It's where we really quickly talk about themes and arcs, and here we go.
What is evil and can it ever be stopped? All right.
This has been dark.
Move on to Hot Pocket. I got the idea of self-preservation versus self-sacrifice. So in the end, like, they could just stop the tape and sacrifice themselves, but instead they're like, fuck that, like, we want to live, so we're just going to let other people die. Like, that's pretty fucked up. That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah,
you know, and it's like,
up.
what would you do in that situation, right?
Yeah. I think it's the whole idea of time and morality, knowing when you're going to die, was an interesting theme. And then also the heavy one around technology and how media is just destroying our human culture. So very interesting.
Yeah. Some arcs. Rachel learns to give her son more attention. I think that's the biggest arc in the story. She, you know, what's her first scene? She walks into the classroom and she hangs up her phone and says, shit, like, to the teacher. And it's like, that was a little on the nose, but it's like she's this businesswoman, doesn't have time, doesn't really care about what's going on. She's busy with her journalistic career. But by the end, you know, she wants to, you know, she realizes her folly there, I think. And then also Rachel and Noah repair their relationship, which I think was pretty cool, because I like the fact that you don't realize they're dynamic. You don't realize that he's her ex-husband.
Yeah, it was like an hour
both
in
of their kids.
that you got that
I
discovery.
love the slow reveal of that. And then they, you know, and it's really sad. It's really tragic, because they go through this together. They live through this crazy stuff, and then it's like, all right, they've repaired the relationship. They're going to live happily ever after. And then he dies. That's kind of savage.
Yeah.
That's good writing.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all I got.
Yeah. You guys done?
Yep. Nick just opts out.
I accidentally hit it twice. My bad.
That's all right. That's all right. All right. Now we go to a place with a song. Da-na-na-na-na-na.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Brian's Corner. Tonight, we're going to talk about remakes. The Ring 2002 is a remake of 1998's of the Japan of The Ring. And we're going to talk about 10 other remakes. And my question, we're just going to blaze through these. Were you aware the movie was a remake? Have you seen either or both versions? And your thoughts on which was better?
No, this is fun. Yeah, let's go.
Thank
Let's
you.
do this.
All right, let's start with the least obscure and move to the most. Other way around. Most obscure. 3 Men and a Baby. You guys seen this movie?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you know it was a remake?
No.
Yeah. It's a remake of a Trois Hommes un... Shit.
Twat. That's three,
you got
right?
This. You got this. Go ahead.
Hang on.
You got this. I believe in you.
Trois Hommes... No. That ain't working.
Nope. The glasses didn't help.
Trois Hommes et un coffin. 1985 French film. Of course it was French.
Couldn't have guessed.
What do we think about that movie? 3 Men and a Baby. Wasn't that the one where there was the rumor where there was the guy who was dead in the curtains in the background, but it was like a stand-up?
Yeah, it was at
Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Danza.
Yeah, the Ted Danza.
Yeah. There, it was actually a cutout of one of the actors. I think it was Ted Danza. It was a cutout of him for another promo.
Yeah,
that's
and,
what they
and
found
they
out.
like there was this whole urban legend that sprung
Yeah.
up. That's cool.
Yeah.
How about Old Boy?
Oh, yeah.
Now 2013 Old Boy. Spike Lee, was it?
I've not
who
seen
made
this
that?
one yet.
Spike
Yeah, I haven't
Jones?
seen the
one of the
remake.
Spikes. I haven't either. But the original 2003 South Korean film,
A+.
A+.
Really?
Have you seen this?
Ben's been telling me about it for years now. Yeah, I need to check it out.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I've only actually seen the original.
I have too.
Yeah,
I have too.
me too.
Oh, okay.
How about The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the 2011 David Fincher ill-fated beginning of a trilogy?
Yeah, I never saw the remake.
Yeah. Oh, did you see the original with Naomi?
I saw the
Watts?
original.
Yeah.
Never saw the remake.
It's like was maybe a Swedish
Never.
movie. I read the book. Yeah, 2009 Sweden, remade by David Fincher. Yeah. How about, have you guys seen Let Me In from 2010? Have you seen Let the Right One In?
Oh, right.
Let the Right One In was the original.
Okay, I've seen Let the Right One In. I've not seen Let Me In.
2008, also Sweden. Really scary.
Yeah,
really good.
Really good.
Yeah.
Another, I would say probably A+. I
Yep.
mean, excellent
So
movie.
good.
Yeah.
What rating scale are you using? A+. What is
That's a 90. That's a
Cinema score.
90 or above. I
Yeah.
would say. I would say that movie is probably a 90 or
Yeah,
above. It's an excellent.
I'm glad.
horror
I'm
movie.
glad that you. Yes, because I saw the original, but I remember when they advertised for the remake, and I was like, I don't need to see a remake because the
Yeah,
original is
so
already.
good.
Vanilla Sky. Go back and listen to our Vanilla Sky episode.
Nope.
We realized Vanilla Sky from 2001 is a remake
Right.
of Open Your Eyes, 1997, a Spanish movie.
Right.
Did we talk
Yeah.
about that?
We did talk
Yeah.
about that. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody seen the OG on that?
I've not.
Yeah.
Nope.
No. Yeah, me
Okay.
neither.
Still haven't seen.
Shoot, I wish we had more insight, but well. Insomnia, 2002's Insomnia. That's a Chris Nolan film. You guys
With-
familiar? This is a remake.
Can I
With Robin
so
Williams?
I have a
Uh-huh.
10-second story about Insomnia.
Uh-huh.
I saw it in the theater, and about 2 hours after I saw that movie, I got violently ill. I think it was probably the popcorn or something. Like I got super sick, and so like so fuck that movie.
Yeah, I was going to say you probably hate that movie.
I will never watch that movie ever again.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of being.
It's
ill.
like your favorite alcohol from college. You just remember
Right.
that.
Yeah,
That is Chris Nolan, right?
I think.
yeah.
I believe that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ben will have to fact check that. I didn't know.
That's a remake from a 1997 Norwegian film called Insomnia, the same name.
Chris Nolan. Yeah.
Chris Nolan.
Oh,
okay.
wow. Okay, yeah.
Four more in the Magnificent Seven, 1960s. So there's been other Magnificent
seen
Sevens,
the
but the
remake.
1960 OG Magnificent Seven is a remake of. Do we know?
Magnificent
Seven. What's a
Samurai?
movie? I'll give you a hint. This is a Japanese movie from 1954.
Oh yeah, Seven Samurai.
Seven Samurai.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just, yeah.
Right.
Love that movie.
How about 12 Monkeys? 1995's Terry Gilliam's 12 Monkeys, I think.
I studied that.
I think
in
it's Terry
college.
Gilliam.
Is it
You would.
Did.
It's a remake of La Jetée from 1962.
really? That's
French
a remake.
Oh, French
Now,
made?
the 1962 version, I believe, I think this is the one that's like a short. It's like a short film. Okay.
Okay. That's. I want to say
I've
12
seen-
Monkeys is one of the most underrated movies.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's really good.
excellent movie.
Yeah.
Who directed
When I
that?
studied
I
in
think it's
college,
Terry
Who
Gilliam.
directed that one?
It's Terry Gilliam.
Terry Gilliam, and
100%.
he did like Time Bandits and Brazil, and
Yeah.
he does really, really out there, eccentric, memorable movies. I think. Penultimate one, True Lies, 1994's True Lies.
What?
Did we know this was a remake? You guys?
No. Why?
Yeah, this blew my
No
mind.
way.
I was like, nah, that's wrong.
Is it a
I
French
fact-checked
film?
it. Yes, it is.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Of course it is.
From 3 years prior.
Oh, shoot.
1991, there was a movie called La Totale with an exclamation point from France.
There's no chances it's good, right?
Wow.
It can't be as
It's
good.
got to be amazing.
It can't be as good.
I'm sure it's amazing.
And this also
Watching this tonight.
might be a short
Watching this
film.
tonight.
It might be a short film as well. So I haven't seen
Wonderful.
it. It blew my mind. And finally,
Even better.
the whole room's going to know about this one. We've talked about this before.
Matrix.
2005's The Departed. Phenomenal
Yeah.
film
Yeah.
based on also a phenomenal film, Infernal Affairs from Hong Kong in 2002. And I think both those movies are unique enough to exist
Live on their
together and be amazing.
Is there a better original and remake combo?
I don't think so.
They're probably probably not.
Let me check my
In
list
fact,
here.
there's no fucking way.
I mean,
Both of those movies are just. But once again, A+. Both
yeah.
90.
Departed is just
and
unbelievable.
90 and above.
unless La Totale from 1991 ends up being amazing, that could be the True Lies La Totale pair. That's the only other one. Barring that not being an amazing movie, I would say, yeah, that's got to be it.
Can we talk about what is probably the biggest disparity between original and remake
Please.
of all time? It's got to be Psycho, right? The Vince Vaughn
yeah.
shot for shot remake. Was it Gus Van Sant? Is that who it was?
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
probably around this time, right? 2004
Anne
or
Heche.
5.
Yeah.
Anne Heche, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Literally
Oh,
a
yuck.
shot
Why-
for
how-
shot fucking remake.
Who greenlit that?
Some
Well,
idiot.
It's early 2000s, I'm sure. That was just
Yuck.
classic.
And it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
And it's amazing it's bad because it's a shot for shot remake of one of the greatest films
And
ever.
I'll even say this to further your point. I had never seen Psycho when I went to the theater because I was big into Vince Vaughn then. I went to the theater to watch the Psycho remake, and I hated it. And then I went and watched the original Psycho
How
and
crazy
loved
is
it.
that?
So that's got to
Doesn't
be the
even make
litmus
any
test for
sense.
how bad it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible.
That stars Julianne Moore and Viggo Mortensen too. Like, there's some stars.
What year
in
was that?
Yeah,
What year?
Except for Anne Heche, what a cast.
1998,
Oh, wow.
and it is
okay.
Gus Van Sant that Gus Van Sant.
That's early Vince Vaughn, I feel like.
So,
yeah.
any other remakes you guys that come to mind that you guys aren't notable or?
Name any superhero movie. Batman. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of those poopers back in the 90s.
I mean, I know there's a lot more movies that are remakes than we know that are remakes. But
How about here's another one, two bangers. OG is good and the remake is arguably better, Dawn of the Dead.
yeah.
Oh, the remake's great.
The remake is really good.
It's really good.
It's really good. And the original is really good.
I've only seen the original.
remakes, yeah, the original is
You haven't seen the Zack
unbelievable.
Snyder?
Snyder.
Is that the one in the mall?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, then I have seen them
Yes.
both. I have seen them
Yeah.
both. Okay, yeah.
That's a strong one.
Yeah.
Anything? Cool. Yeah, remakes. Fun stuff.
Well, this is Critical Mess. We're sponsored by Modelo. We're sponsored by Old Elk, the most ambrosial of whiskeys. And now it's time for Hot Pocket.
Oh boy. I was not ready.
Your finger was nowhere close.
I wasn't close.
There it is.
Yeah, we got it.
Just keep hitting it.
Guys, best producer in the pod business.
Oh, hell yeah.
We got him right here.
So this
People
is
are clamoring.
This is the segment where we talk about all the random shit that we haven't talked about yet. So Here we go. Jumping into the first Hot Pocket. And we always start simple, right? We just start simple. We start pepperoni pizza. Pepperoni pizza.
Always.
So good.
And I want to talk about the rating of this film. PG-13.
Weird. It feels like an R.
PG-13.
Yeah.
I thought that, and I think it's an appropriate place to start because right when I turned the movie on last night, that's what popped on the screen. PG-13. And I just kind of assumed this was rated R
Same.
just because it's kind of a gritty horror movie. And I was surprised, and I guess I think it's worth bringing up in a pepperoni Hot Pocket because you can make a really fucking scary movie at PG-13. And I'm not even going to say this movie's really fucking scary. I think this movie has got good dread. I think it's a solid horror movie, blah, blah, blah,
Is our
blah.
word for the night?
But the point is that I think you don't need all that crazy blood and gore and crazy shit to make a really scary horror movie. And I think this movie is a pretty good example of that. And I don't think there are enough examples of that.
Yeah, I wish there were more.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think another good example of that is The Others. Nicole Kidman.
Yeah. That was a pretty
forgot about
solid
that one.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could basically. I think what we're talking about is there are a few examples of movies that are more or less made for adults. Not that kids can't enjoy it, but they're not catering to kids. But they can still be PG-13 because there's that PG-13 stigma.
Yeah.
And to me, when I think of The Ring, I just put it with rated R movies, not because of content, but because of subject matter.
Yeah.
I just said the same thing twice. Not because of like gratuitous gore, but because of the subject matter of it. It's a serious.
I'd love to
movie.
see how they rank that in the rating system. Like, is it because they didn't say the F-bomb 45 times or 3 times or however many times? Like, swearing wasn't at a heavy cost here. And
There's
then,
no violence.
and then there's
really.
not a lot of violence.
Hardly any.
Like, there's no physical kills.
Yeah, but you
know
guys,
what I mean?
what stays with you longer? Somebody saying the F word,
Or a chick
fucking
crawling
Brian,
at you out of
fucking
the
Brian
screen.
Cox electrocuting himself in the bathtub
Yeah,
with
right.
a bunch of
Just-
electronics.
that was pretty
unsettling.
And they don't show any of it. Like, they
Why
don't
did
show
he
his
need
face.
so many electronics?
a lot.
One radio will do this, sir. Like, it's like,
He wanted to make sure he was
It's Brian
gone.
Cox, man. He's going big.
yeah, I
and
know.
going
It's
home.
Cox.
Yeah,
it's Cox. You don't
dude.
question Cox.
Yeah, don't you dare.
Don't ever question Cox. And we're watching the scene now where this horse is running amok on this ferry and it jumps over the edge, and it's kind of brutal the way this horse slams against the side of the ship,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
everybody goes to the back, including a small child who's the owner of the horse, and they see all this blood come up. I mean, this is
R-ish.
this is R-rated stuff, but
Yeah.
like, I don't know, they wanted that PG-13.
They towed that line.
Do you guys want to hear some PG-13 horror movies?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Let's hear it.
Okay, we got I Saw the TV Glow, Boogeyman, Insidious, The Red Door, Five Nights at Freddy's, The Grudge, Old,
Another Japanese remake.
Yeah, The Grudge. Yeah.
Insidious,
Old, wait, old. You said old.
Old.
That's the M. Night Shyamalan
M.
one.
Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
Oh, what
Yeah.
a terrible film.
A Quiet Place, which I don't know about horror.
A Quiet
but
Place is the first one on the list where I've thought, okay, that might have been rated R.
yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
The Haunting, 10 Cloverfield Lane,
Ooh, that's a great
Yeah,
one.
that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It Lives Inside, Cloverfield, What Lies Beneath,
Oh, What
What
Lies Beneath
was PG-13?
Oh, wow.
I love What
Really?
Lies Beneath.
Dang.
The Village. I don't know if you remember 1408.
Oh, yeah.
with,
of course.
Yeah.
1408 is special.
So good.
Megan, Insidious Chapter 2, like Warm Bodies.
lot of
there's
Insidious
There's a
movies.
lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Dang.
PG-13 is going to make more money. I mean,
Yeah, and,
right.
and I was
usually.
gonna say a lot of those
Yeah.
ones that you just read, number one, made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And of course, horror movies tend to. But number two, I'm going to say I have not seen maybe 30% of that, 40% of those. But of the ones I've seen, maybe 3 or 4 stand out as movies like The Ring, where I really feel like that when I think of them, I don't think of cheap, sort of neutered horror. I think of that's pretty freaking scary.
Yeah.
like The
I
Ring.
feel like a lot of those movies, at least in my opinion, made sacrifices to become PG-13, probably, right? I don't
Yeah.
feel
I
like this
don't
movie
feel like The Ring did. That's a
made
great way to put it.
sacrifices.
It's a great way to put it.
Yeah. I was just looking up the highest grossing R-rated films, just because a lot of those made $1.5 billion. There's a lot of R-rated films that still make money, so it's not like you can't make money in that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Those are pretty good.
Yeah.
pepperoni, basic.
We're off to
little
a
pep.
great start.
We'll move on to a 4 cheese. I let's talk about that opening a little bit, because I thought
with the two girls at the sleepover.
with the two girls at the sleepover, and one thing I think that opening did that I kind of liked, actually, begrudgingly, was the fake outs.
I liked
Yeah,
those
that was
a
cute.
lot. There was two of them.
Yeah.
And they didn't do that again.
No, they didn't.
Right? And I kind of appreciated that. It's like they got that out of the way.
Yeah,
kind
they
of
had a couple dream
because it was almost
sequences.
like lighthearted, because this is not a lighthearted movie.
No.
And that was
Yeah.
borderline comic relief, right? And so it's like you got to get that shit out of the way right in the opening scene. And I thought they did it pretty well.
And they did it in a way that actually raised the stakes, because it's almost like you felt like a false sense of security. Like, that movie gave you that fake out because it's literally about to pull the rug out from under your feet.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I really like those fake outs. They weren't cheap. They did it twice. They somehow so for them to do it once and then do it again, and you not see it
Yeah,
coming.
the second time on the
good
phone
job.
Yeah, was
when it's
really the
mom.
good one.
Yeah.
That
Good
was
job.
like, that one got me. I will say, it got me.
But also
got
the
me
first
good.
one too.
The first one was good too.
Are you saying the
I meant
first
the
movie?
first movie.
Well, let me say this. Let me be clear. In the first movie, they didn't have the first of the two jump scares. They only had the one where it
on
was
the
her
phone?
mom on the phone. They didn't have the one where the girl fake died, right?
Yeah, like the choking
no.
or whatever.
Because that was the very first one. Was the girl was like, and then she like laughed.
Yeah, do you
And-
think
and-
that was a weird nod to like the meta behind this film and like how they were trying to poke at some horror films and genres? But
Yeah. It
I
felt
mean, that's
like
how
yeah.
I saw
Yeah,
that. 'cause
I
a little
they
bit
do
of
that-
self-awareness.
Sure,
a little
sure.
bit.
I think this movie had a little bit of self-awareness. There were like Noah, the ex-husband or whatever. I think he was big into the whole like joking and poking fun at a tape can't kill you. What, like you're listening to high schoolers or whatever.
Noah was such a good character. He needed to be the straight edge, like the practical.
Great
got the
turn
voice
at
of
the
reason.
end where he's
Yeah,
just
voice of
horrified
reason.
by
Yeah.
her coming out of the TV. That was the perfect character for that to happen on. Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
Why don't we add a little ham to that cheese?
Always.
So I want to talk about TV static, the fuzz, the snow.
I love
Okay.
white noise.
Right? Is it? There's something about it.
Something about it.
I don't know what it. I don't know if it's just the signals from space. I don't know what it is. There's something about it that's just unsettling, though. It's like
Well, it's
just a
because
little
the
bit.
TV is trying to make sense of a scrambled signal. It's not
Right.
like when you in the digital days when you lose signal, it just goes blue screen, just a solid blue.
Right,
Back
right,
in the day,
right, that was different.
That TV, that CRT, that's still trying to make sense of all the sine waves coming in, and the result is what we see as white noise. But there's something. I mean,
I just
it's a
imagine
signal.
it's like Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory, where he talks about how it sucks him in and he gets particleized in the air, and then it comes back into an image over here. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
That's from Wonka.
Yeah,
it's
from-
Willy Wonka
or-
and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
yeah.
The
That's what
Johnny
I think
Depp
of.
one.
Yeah, it's just those are particles of the TV. The show that you're about to watch are coming back together on the other end.
suddenly lost all its allure.
Well, ultimately, though, here's what
shit!
Damn it.
here's what's kind of interesting about it, right? Is ultimately what it is distortion.
Yeah,
Right,
Yeah.
it's distortion.
yeah.
And what this movie has a lot of, that's a theme, is distortion, right? The faces are distorted when you take a picture of someone who's been cursed by the tape, right? So I thought that, I don't know, there's just something about TV static. Any other movies come to mind that just have great TV static?
Poltergeist kind of
Poltergeist
leaned
is
into
really the
that.
quintessential. Yeah.
I'm thinking of a movie right now. I'm
The
looking
Matrix.
at Brian. There he goes. He got it. There we go.
We did it.
Yep. I feel like there's some zombie movies,
Yeah.
probably have some good just static on the television after the newscast drops off,
It's just the whole idea of. I feel like. Do you guys ever see the movie The Vast of Night?
No.
Okay, I don't know if there was TV static
French
in that
film?
movie, but it's called The Vast of Night. And maybe 4 years ago, it's a sci-fi, really well made. I want to say Amazon Prime original or some original movie, but I feel like it really is kind of an alien movie. But there was you never saw aliens. They were kind of were a concept, and it was all radio. That was radio waves. So it was like this kind of radio. And I'm bringing this up. I can't remember if it directly ties into white noise, but it gave me that feeling of there's something in the airway. There's something nebulous that if you tune into
You
the right
can't explain.
frequency
Right.
late at night, you can kind of
Yeah.
you can hear something, or on your TV.
It's
you
like the ghost
You
hunters
fall
that-
asleep
yeah.
in front of the TV, and it's 2:30 a.m. and in a sort of show, or like there's I don't know why that is so appealing to me, but it's like it's got a paranormal feeling to it. And,
Yeah,
and
like
the movie
It's used a lot.
Contact.
It's
Contact,
used,
yeah.
It's used a lot in horror films and all kinds of stuff now. Yeah, just to give you that uneasiness.
I just love analog. I just love how
Do you think you could make this movie today? Like modernize it to today.
I mean,
Yeah.
remake a remake.
I do. Yeah.
I think you could.
I think you could get around the technological limitations and the kind of things that they're working with. I think you could.
What would the mechanism be?
An app.
An app or
an app?
They would, I know for a fact they would make it an app.
What about
right?
like an old game? What if you like were playing an old computer game or something and you found some sort of like hidden level or like a cheat code that like
that'd be
took
cool.
you into some sort of, and it like connected you to some kind of weird dark web. Like I feel like it would
could
have to be
figure it
that
out.
type of a mechanism. Or whatever.
2002. How far along were we in the DVD age at this point? The
Pretty far.
VHS.
I bought The Matrix in 2000 on DVD.
Okay.
I think that thematically the content of I agree with Nick. I think absolutely it could be made, and you just you'd need is a mechanism to convey this sort of like urban legend, thing that's going around.
I would still want it to be analog. I would
know, me
still want it
too.
to tie to something
makes
that's
it better.
physical. Yeah.
it does make
But that's
it.
because that's our culture. That's
I
what
know,
we
that's our
grew
culture.
up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also tying.
What would my kids latch on
Right,
to?
it's different.
I had to look this up because I don't think they kind of glossed over it a little bit. The power of ninja is what the girl has. I don't know if you guys researched it at all.
Yes.
The demon girl.
I read, the demon girl. So like she's creating these images and she's like manifesting these things to happen to these people. Like,
She's a ninja?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Ninja is the
So she can
terminology.
kick
So
and
she could
throwing
like,
stars,
Yeah, she was like,
yes, she's a ninja. Yeah,
grappling hooks.
No, ninja. It's like a weird thing that I was wondering. Like they talked about how she made these images, but she could physically burn them and create the images in film. So like when he showed those huge prints,
Those
like how big were
X-rays.
those fucking things? They were huge, but she was burning them into the images from her own mind, and I was just like, that's fucking even more
That's
creepy.
that's why it's her rocking horse.
Yeah, it's all her visions.
So it's
and
her
like,
visions that have been burned into film.
Yeah, yeah. So interesting.
I would say there was a solid ham and cheese, and I'm going to stick with the cheese.
Okay.
I'm going to go Philly steak and cheese. Okay. Is it the same kind of cheese?
It's a white cheese.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's
It's
a white
different
cheese.
That's
Yeah.
a different
That's white
cheese.
cheddar
Because the
cheese.
ham only comes
Cheddar
with
and-
I'd say hams
But
and
it could be ham and
Hammies.
Swiss.
Oh, sure. Ham and Swiss.
Could be ham and Swiss.
Sure.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know.
So now
there's
your question has to be
No,
share
no.
a similarity since you've carried over the Swiss.
The Philly cheese or the Philly steak, it comes with provolone.
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 Boy, our Philadelphia listeners just turned us off.
Anyway.
not cheese whiz.
No, Provo.
Provo.
Okay, so here's something I should have included this and flipped the script. Something I did not like about this movie and kind of irritates me a little bit. I'm curious what you guys think about this. I don't dig the subliminal, super fast cutting stuff. Like the two frames of the ring popping on the screen.
There was one of those that was kind of
ultra
egregious.
fast
Yeah.
cuts. I just in watching the video, there were a lot of really fast kind of cuts. And weird overcrank stuff going on, and I didn't think that added much, and I thought it was kind of stupid.
I don't know. It did the opposite for me. It just made me want to look at those images, and every time they came on screen, that they were so fast originally, I was like, oh, what can I see this next time? Like the maggots turning into the people, like climbing over each other in like a pile of mud and dirt. Like, did you see like that stuff? I didn't catch the first time. I was like, oh, they're just maggots, and then I realized there are human bodies that got morphed into that. So it's like that stuff I found really intriguing visually.
Nick, there was one egregious example that I can think of, it, and that was there was just a scene transition, and all of a sudden there was like a two frame like ring that popped up that was noticeable enough but not noticeable enough, and I thought, why'd they add that? So that I did not like. However, another example of when I liked it was when you saw the girl at the beginning, Becca's friend, die, the cousin of the kid. When you see her open the door, she grabs the door handle that's dripping. She opens the door. She sees the TV, and then it turns around. It zooms into her. Her face sort of just what do you call it? Disfigures, and you all of a sudden see like a snippet of like a horse eye and something else. Yeah. And I like that because instead of just blatantly showing exactly what was happening to her face, they leave us wondering, and then they show some sort of foreshadowing. That was an example I was fine with. Yeah. So I think I'm middling on that.
Didn't they do that at the very end of the film too? Show a horse eye just like at the very end, like a super fast.
If they did, I don't remember, but I believe
maybe
you.
they didn't. Yeah,
possibly.
But yeah, again, generally not a fan of just like manipulating people with super fast, cuts of things. It's like, just show me something real,
They kind of did that in Saw too, where they would like
Saw.
chop.
Yeah,
and then,
that was
agreed. Yeah, I don't love it. It was kind of maybe a little bit of the time, kind of editing maneuver.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna stick with cheese, but this time it's got sausage and egg with it, so it's kind of a breakfast thing.
sausage.
Is there a hot pocket
and a croissant?
Is there a hot pocket
No,
flavor
no,
that does not have cheese?
Oh yeah.
Aren't we always sticking with cheese?
Meatball and marinara.
No. There's
There's some without
There's
cheese.
probably some
Okay.
mozz in there.
Oh yeah, there's probably some
probably some
mozzarella.
there's a
in
bit
there.
of cheese in that. I think we'll find one. We'll find one or two.
There's just the chicken.
Oh, the chicken one.
Yeah, guys.
That's right.
We're gonna get the chicken.
Okay,
the
sorry.
plain white chicken.
Sorry,
Yeah.
you're helming the
Nice.
ship. Go.
So Gris, this one's kind of for you. This is your sausage,
Okay.
egg, and cheese.
This is your sausage.
This is my sausage. All right, tell me more, please.
Yeah. So I think we touched on this earlier, and but I think we need to dive into this sausage a little more. And
and ranch blasted.
the cinematography and the way this was shot, the filters. To me, it was very yellow. I felt there was a lot of yellow and a lot of blue.
Yep.
Green.
In green, there was a lot of. It was very dramatic in the way that it was
Big time.
filtered and shot. And I guess I want to talk a little bit about the atmosphere that added. Was it annoying at all? Does it distracting? How did we feel about it?
I was just saying this that I compare this movie weirdly to, it's beautiful. I think it was beautifully shot. Every shot is very intentional, is very thought through, like the framing, the blocking, the coloring, everything was done on purpose, and you can tell it was done really well. And the only movie I can compare it to is The Shining, how that movie was so meticulously shot. I feel like this is in the same vein that they tried really hard. And the green hue, the blue hue, whatever you want to call it, that filter they had over the whole thing, I think at first I was like, oh geez, like this is so early 2000s. But the more I watched it, the more and more uncomfortable I felt with it. And I think they did it on purpose to make you feel like ill to your stomach. Like I feel sickly watching these people in a green hue because it doesn't feel natural. Like we're looking at each other now and we have this warmth, this color to us. And like it just built on the whole uneasiness, the dread of this film that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, it's very cohesive from start to finish, and it stays that way because of how it's shot. And there's a couple of scenes where you see the sun shoot through like that red tree, and you get that red, and that's like visually striking. And I think, The Shining's a good example of a movie that sort of has that same cohesion as far as like, let's build this dread, let's keep it going, let's never cut back. And I think The Ring just nails it. I mean, the cinematography is fabulous.
Yeah, unbelievable.
And it's just beautiful. It's like Pacific Northwest feel. It's very, it's kind of moist. Sorry to use that word if that triggers anybody, but it's just the best word to use. I mean, it's a wet movie.
It is.
Apparently,
it just is. I'm sorry.
Apparently, on production, it rained like
Almost every day.
almost every single day. They had issues with rain and like how to logistically figure that out. So, I mean, I appreciate it.
I did a little bit of research on the director of photography.
Oh,
for
shoot,
it.
yeah.
It's Bojan Bazelli. He did movies such as Hairspray, which is nothing
Brilliant.
like this. Cure for Wellness, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and
wow.
Lone Ranger, which is where
With
I think
Johnny
he
Depp, right?
met.
Yeah, probably. It's so funny how
Verbinski.
they connect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he do any
Or
good
wait,
movies?
He would have met him on The Ring, and then
And then
Right.
done
Lone
Ranger
Ranger.
with Johnny Depp. Yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
Dang.
But it's crazy that's such a range of director of photography.
Yeah,
You know, like those are several different types of movies.
I don't know. We've heard of directors,
And-
but we've mentioned it before where like we talk about this unbelievable director in this horror film or this action film, and then they went and did like a crazy Disney film or like some animated short or something.
Right.
So we've
Yeah.
had it
It's
before.
interesting.
Yeah.
Let's add a vegetable to the cheese.
Can I guess what it is?
Well, there's not a whole. You got about two choices.
Okay.
Are you going to guess?
It's not broccoli.
It is
broccoli, yeah.
Yes. It's either that or a green pep. That's pretty much it.
It's a
green
fruit.
pep. Okay.
Thank you, Brian. So this will be the chicken, broccoli, and cheddar. We've touched on young Aiden and his poor acting. Thought it was funny. He called mom Rachel.
Rachel. Yeah.
Now that was hilarious.
That was-
I thought that was kind of precious, and I kind of appreciated that.
It makes sense when you realize that he's the son of her and
Yeah.
Noah, and that there's a sort of broken marriage. But
Very
but
broken.
before you know that, it's sort of like, why weird?
Yeah, it's a little weird, but I also appreciate
It's
it.
fine. Yeah.
I just think it's funny when small children call their parents by their first name.
Here's the thing. Why not?
No,
Why?
I'm totally. do
My
it.
name is Brian. Why do my kids not call me my name? Why are they not allowed to do
I
that?
do.
And if they do it, why does it come off as disrespectful? And how the hell did
doesn't.
you
It's
work that
not.
out with Ken?
Yeah.
How did you figure that out? How did you guys?
It wasn't
How
hard.
did you guys say, "Fuck the way the world works. This is what we're going to do. It's way better."
It's
like,
not
why
difficult.
not?
You You just break the
I'm
ice.
going to start doing it
and you just say, "Hey, Ken."
from henceforth.
Hey,
But then
Ken.
you can just say, "Hey, Pop," sometimes, but it's usually say, "Hey, Ken."
Do you-
What's up with
so-
just a person?
Yeah.
I called him Ken. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's because it's less familiar with, like, it's a less familiar term. Like, dad infers something like a relationship.
In a work environment. Yeah, that was.
In a work environment, it's different. But I'm just saying, like, when you're in like the home, it's a different type of relationship when you say, "Hey, Ken."
You call him Ken at home too?
Sure.
Did we talk?
Then-
Okay, you did say that.
then-
But what do you? But
Hey,
what do you?
Dad.
What do you call your wife? You don't call her
My
you don't-
wife.
You don't call her wife.
My
You don't
wife.
call her
My wife. I
right?
call her Boo.
I mean, sure, you probably call her honey and whatever.
Kate.
Schmoopy poo. What's
Yeah.
what's Seinfeld? Schmoopy.
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 Schmoopsy.
Schmoopsy.
Queen.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
why I got triggered right there, but I just never thought
I
about
get
that
it.
before.
Yeah.
Like we have a name
For
Let's
our
use it.
listeners, FYI, us three work together at the same agency. Nick's dad, Ken, worked there as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
wild
Shout out to
dynamic.
Also, hot take. I don't think she's a good mom. Period.
Oh,
Even
I don't
after
think anyone
even
does.
after
how
the
messed
arc.
up was that kid?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, she just let when they came
Well,
home
she-
to the child, he would just like face down on the carpet, and just like he was like,
Yeah.
"That's not a problem."
Yeah.
And her last lesson to her child is, "Here, let's murder people by you copying this tape."
Right.
Yeah. So, did you guys catch the dad and the son having that conversation in the car? I have the quote down, but did you guys catch like the awkward? So the dad says, "I don't
Actually,
think
I
I'd
kind of
make
like that scene.
I thought it was really interesting. I was like, the dad says, "I don't think I'd make a good father. Maybe it was because my own was such a disappointment. Thing is, I don't want anyone else to do it either, be your father." And the kid goes, "It's a conundrum." He goes, "Yeah,
That's
it's
a
conundrum."
great
like,
discourse.
Because it was a callback to the.
'Cause he
yeah,
learned
yeah,
conundrum.
he wore the
Yeah.
word conundrum, and it
And
was.
I love
and the
how-
dad was like, "What
I love
the fuck?"
Noah kind of has bemused by him saying that, but it's like
Yeah.
he also uses it so well because it's like it
So-
is a conundrum because he's saying
So good.
he doesn't want anyone else to be his
Right.
dad, but
And
he
he's
also
like-
feels like he's not fit to be his dad,
Yeah.
and that's a conundrum. That's a
And
great.
it was
That's a
so
really
good.
good scene.
Well, the bottom line is that Aiden, he acts like he's 45.
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
not
just
good.
kind of weird. It's just kind of weird. He
Like
even
when he
dresses
agreed.
like he's 45.
Is
he
he the
has a
next-
haircut like he's
Yeah,
45.
he's-
Like it's just not.
And he picks out Rachel's dress. He's like, "Here's your dress over here."
Yeah,
I picked it
yeah,
out.
yeah,
Which, by the way,
yeah.
is also a callback to the original. You know, for what that's
Is
worth.
he the next coming of Samara? Do you think? Is that what I was
he's
getting
just
at?
an
here?
annoying child.
How
There's
did
a nice
he
parallel.
How did he know that? How did he know that Samara was? How did he believe that? Because remember how his cousin was like, "I'm going to die in 7 days," and she. But it didn't seem like she really believed that night of the sleepover where she dies because she's like, "I saw the tape too." Like, did she really believe she was going to die in 7 days enough to tell him
I
throughout
love
that
this.
week?
I love this kid.
Very
My
interesting.
favorite
I
part
have
was when he
some
was
questions.
aggressively drawing a dark circle on the floor, just like over and over and over again, and he just stands up and walks away.
So basically, broccoli, ham, and cheddar. Wait, whatever we're in.
Yeah.
Chicken.
The point
Chicken.
of this hot
Broccoli,
pocket.
yeah.
When we finish the hot pocket, and we're making a point, and that is he was terrible.
Yeah.
Bad actor.
Yep. Our boy Cox coming up on screen.
Oh yeah. We'll get to
We got to get to
we'll
him.
get to King Mental Ass.
Mm.
All
You can
right.
dodge a tub.
Meatball and mozzarella, and this is just an observation here. I'm just gonna say I'm just curious your reaction. Acting sad is hard. It's hard, guys. I think it's the hardest thing to act like.
Remember we talked about the ring? The Notebook, where the old lady when she's old, Rose or whatever her name is, you know. And my point was she had to act the entire movie. Every scene she was on screen, she had to act like she was sad and confused.
Confused and sad.
And I was saying that was probably really hard to do.
Yeah.
I agree.
Acting sad, it's tough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who acted sad?
A lot of people.
Everyone?
acted sad. There were
Yeah,
dead,
they were all kinda
dead children,
sad, weren't
and-
they?
Yeah, there was sad stuff happening. Just a cheeseburger. You can get a cheeseburger Hot Pocket, and I kind of want
I
one.
believe you.
Right now. I
I
want
do
it cooked
too.
on 410
Hey, Meyer's open till midnight.
for 18 minutes.
Get you out there, buddy.
What's the cheeseburger? Oh, I know the cheeseburger. I don't know if you guys are going to remember this specific scene, but it stuck out to me because I just burst out in laughter. I thought it was very funny. It was when what's her name? Rachel. Was that her name? The main woman?
Yeah, Rachel.
Rachel.
Mhm.
Yeah. She was. I don't remember. She was like in an environment. Some guy interjects. This is early in the film, and he's like, "It's not about that. It's about the tape." And he looks like he's like, it's like this young guy. It's like it was in a cafeteria or something. Sorry guys, I wish I could
What?
describe this scene better.
She's in the cafeteria?
No, it's not a cafeteria. She's talking to her I cannot place.
Is it the
scene.
boss that's like, you're fired?
This kid.
And she's like, no, I'm not.
no, he's a kid. He looks like he's dipping. He's got a big like dip in.
Is he that guy on the photo?
Yeah, it's him.
Yeah. It's
Oh
him.
yeah, Brody.
Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah.
What's the scene where he's in?
They're outside and she's trying to be cool and talk
It's
to him.
outside.
and get
Yes,
information.
sorry.
She's trying to
I
smoke.
don't know what-
She's
it was
smoking with
like
the
at
kids.
school
Yeah.
or something. Okay, sorry. I knew
Yeah.
it was like at
No,
school
it
or
was
like,
something.
yeah.
Is it him?
It was like the memorial service.
I'm so glad this all came full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
sorry.
the memorial
That saved me.
service
That
outside,
photo
yes.
saved me. It saved me.
we have to thank April for my wife
that is-
for printing out the headshots here.
My
She
wife.
brought it all together.
The way he just delivers that line is just
Yeah.
egregious. It's not about that. It's about the tape.
Yeah,
I'm just like, dude,
kind of
what?
weird.
Like, you need to pick your dip out of your mouth before you deliver your dialogue.
And he kind
Sorry, I'm
of
glad
had
we-
a bubble in it, so he's like, it's not about that.
I know it was just a
weird
very
delivery. I agree.
weird delivery.
Hey, speaking of Adam Brody, the new show that's on Netflix, Nobody Wants This. Unbelievable show. Highly recommend.
I've heard that.
Oh, so good. I'm glad he's making a comeback.
Hot Pocket.
We're at Hot Pocket.
Let's go for a barbecue beef. How did you guys feel about the just kind of the whole distorted faces sort of kind of mechanism? Did that add something? Was it stupid? Was it actually cool and was like this sort of plot device that moved things forward? It kind of triggered Noah into his sort of arc, I guess, and having that arc. I don't know. I thought that was kind of an interesting, but I'm curious your guys' opinion on what you thought.
I loved it because it solidified each person's realization that they were going to die. And I think without that effect, they could have just disbelieved it. Okay,
Yeah.
because she watches the tape, she get the phone call. Okay, you can explain all this away. You cannot explain away the fact that you're taking photos of yourself with every camera, and they all come out distorted. That's a genius storytelling device.
Yeah.
It turned her. She's like, look at all these
She's a
pictures. Take my
detective.
picture.
She's slowly discovering this. Yeah.
I don't think that they would have taken it seriously had that effect not been in place. And I love the fact that was in place in the original, especially because in the original it was a Polaroid.
Yeah.
And they printed
How
out
did
the
it look
Polaroid.
on the Polaroids?
It
looked the exact same?
It looked really good.
All right,
it was the
'cause-
exact same
So I
smudging.
love the concept. I think it's so good. I really did like it because she's a reporter and she discovered all these things and figured it out. I just wish it was done differently because it looked like somebody took like the swirl effect and just clicked once and it just did the swirl on every picture. I was kind of hoping it would be like maybe a smudge or some type of digital distortion
you
or
can-
something.
you can
or a
explain
film
it-
burn would be cool.
Yeah, and in today's day and age, like I think they were taking the photos on digital cameras here, and then there was like the photo. But like I said, in the original is a Polaroid, and you cannot do
Right.
that kind of stuff on a Polaroid.
It'd be
That
cool if it
prints
was film
the
burn
photo
there
out
or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Cool effect.
I think it's time to move on to some breakfast flavors.
Sorry.
Do we have do they have a pancakes flavor?
No, but we should submit that.
We should. Hot
A
Pocket.
pancake crust.
Yeah, like a pancake with maybe like some sort of maple bacon.
Oh, yeah.
Hot honey.
Just that hot honey. And then we'll just ranch blast the
wake you
shit
up
out
in
of
the
it.
morning. Yeah.
Just ranch blast it.
Let's the shit out of it.
All right, then we'll just go bacon, egg, and cheese. We'll go bacon, egg, and cheese.
Did we just do bacon, egg, and cheese?
We did not.
We're in breakfast now. We're just starting
just
breakfast.
moved on to breakfast. No, Gris.
Ham,
there was-
egg, and... You did ham, egg, and something earlier.
All right, we're not going to get hung
there
up
was a
on
ham and cheese.
Just making
Let's
sure.
not get hung up
Listen,
on.
our
Ham-
last one was the
this
chicken
is-
like a ranch.
This is a,
I'm going to
this is a-
rewind it. I'm going to find out.
It's a
So-
Canadian bacon. We did a ham and cheese. This is a Canadian,
Canadian bacon.
Oh,
Totally
okay,
different.
okay, got it. My bad.
Right.
My bad.
Egg and cheese. I assume the cheese is always the same.
What's our question?
So was this movie, and was I reading too much into this? Was this movie some sort of commentary on how everyone watches too much TV?
Yes. Heavily.
It was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
From
So
the
that was
beginning,
like
yes.
that was like a obvious. Like I was like
I don't think it was obvious the first time I saw it, but this time it was very obvious when I was flipping through this. My favorite scene is probably like almost the rear window view when she's looking at her apartment. Noah's watching the tape behind her, and she's just like looking over at all the apartment buildings. They're all like shaded, and then like half of them are unshaded, and it's a person here just sucked into their TV watching it. Another person cooking dinner while also like watching the TV, and they can't get their faces away from it. And then she just sees
Right,
one lone
right.
woman on her balcony actually looking out at the world. And
Yeah,
that's
I think that
her
was the scene
reflection.
that triggered that
Nice.
thought.
Yeah.
Nice.
Did you notice the guy with the foot up?
Yeah, he had a broken foot.
He had a broken
yeah,
foot.
Yep, from her window. Yeah,
calling
yep.
out
I
through
forgot.
her window.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I loved how right after Noah watched the tape for the first time, and Naomi Watts is freaking out. She's like, "You're gonna die," and he's like, "We watched it. We're hanging."
Yeah, that's true.
He's so cool.
Yeah, he's cool. Okay, we're sticking with breakfast. We're just gonna move to a croissant crust.
Oh,
Finally.
we are doing
Yes.
it.
But it's the same. It's bacon, egg, and cheese, but you get it with the croissant crust.
Totally different vibe.
Totally
so
different
excited.
vibe.
This is
Bacon, egg, and cheese.
Listen, you have a regular bacon, egg, and cheese on a Tuesday.
Bacon, egg,
You have a
and cheese.
croissant, bacon, egg, and cheese on a Sunday.
On a
Yeah.
Sunday.
Okay.
And here's the thought for this this one. Here's all I wrote. I just comments on this. Noah is swimming in it. And I had another word for it, but I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, go
It
ahead.
starts with a P and ends with a.
It does. Or it might start with an S.
Yeah.
Or maybe a V.
This is great.
Or-
This is perfect for our viewers to
Did you
just
notice-
imagine
Are
what
you
these
guys?
words are.
Okay.
Why
did
is
you
Noah
also notice that they're wearing the same college T-shirts?
Who?
Oh, really?
The girls. Yeah.
Oh, I did not notice that.
Yeah. They're wearing the same college
got-
T-shirts, so that
he's
he met
got
them at the same college.
Two baddies just throwing
Yeah.
it at him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they know each other, right? They got to.
Did you see
They
his
have to.
apartment though? See his fucking apartment. Let's be honest. We all want a fucking industrial loft
Yeah.
apartment
In
with
Seattle.
a parade elevator you
Yeah.
got to go to
Yeah.
get up onto this
How
apartment.
successful
You know
do you
the
think he
parties
is?
he's throwing up on this
Yeah.
loft.
How successful?
I'm just saying, this guy's like Naomi Watts. Like, I'm busy with this other shit right now, man.
He's got it going
Like,
on.
let's keep it moving.
For all us creative artists out there.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty with having the slow moving freight elevator. You know who's coming and you can get the other one out
You
the
do.
side
That's
door.
right. That's right.
Go down the
I still
fire
don't
escape.
believe
Down the
that-
chute. Down the fire chute.
I don't believe that Naomi and Noah created Aiden.
No,
I don't, that
there's
doesn't
no
make
way.
a whole lot of sense.
No,
There's
that
no way.
that child was created by Satan.
Yeah. How lucky was it that they dropped all those marbles?
Oh, so
Yeah.
lucky.
Mm,
Yeah.
that was lucky.
I think they would have figured it out.
Yeah, eventually.
Now we're going to replace the Canadian bacon with sausage. It's going to be a sausage, egg, and cheese croissant.
That's like a McDonald's thing.
It's heaven. Is what it is. Cooked at 410 for 17 minutes.
Ooh, that's crispy.
17 minutes.
Crispy.
To crisp it up a little bit. I want to talk about the countdown. There's a countdown in this movie. It's a 7-day countdown. And I want to talk about what a great movie device the countdown is, and how almost every time there's a countdown in a movie, it pays off and it's awesome.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to throw out just one example, and I want to hear other examples from you guys. And I'm going to call it back to another episode, Half Baked, the countdown on the date when he has the whatever $6 budget to buy the ice cream,
yes.
to pay off the homeless
Yes.
guy, to buy the hot dog. Yes, it's
I
just
thought you were talking about the calendar till Nasty Nate.
couple of countdowns. There's a
Yeah.
couple of countdowns.
Couple of countdowns.
But I'm talking about the on-screen countdown. It shows the number countdown. You know, this one shows 6 days, 7 days, whatever, 5 days. And, you know, Half Baked, it was at, $4.72, $3.50, $2. I love the countdown. And any other countdowns come to mind?
I like you
guys?
think like Apollo 13, like 10 days to launch, 5 days to launch, 2 days to launch, and then you got the actual countdown. But the one that comes to mind for me is Dunkirk. You've got 3 different countdowns coming through.
Yeah.
That one does a
I'm
great
sure there's so
countdown.
many other good ones too,
Does
but I love a
7
countdown.
Does
Love a
7 have a
countdown.
countdown? Am I thinking of that correctly? Or is it just simply they're talking about the 7 deadly sins?
I think it's because the movie's called 7 and it feels like 7, 6.
But they
5,
talk about the
4.
sins, but I could have swore there was a title case over
well,
it.
they show the different sins.
Yeah, maybe they show the sin titles,
So
and that's what I'm
It's
thinking of.
kind of a countdown wherein
Yeah.
that you know there's 7.
There's so many reasons why a countdown is a good mechanism. I think one of them is because they can sort of manipulate you. You know, you can spend 30 minutes of runtime on day 3 or something,
Yep.
and
Yeah,
you know, it's
right,
like they set up that ticking clock, but then they can sort of manipulate that and subvert expectations in very clever ways.
I bet they're equal. If we went back and looked at this, I bet they're
not.
They're not.
No, the last
huge,
no,
the big ones.
The
Okay.
last couple of days
That's the
are
thing.
way
Like,
longer.
Yeah, Act 3 is like 1 day.
You know where I don't like it? When it's chapters and it's you don't know the end.
Yeah.
You're just like chapter 1 and then it's like how many chapters do we have? Like 57?
Ben,
I didn't mind.
know?
Didn't Saltburn do that?
Yeah,
Doesn't
it
Ben
did.
hate Saltburn?
But hey,
I fucking hate that,
Hey,
movie.
love
that movie.
I hate that movie.
Ben, hear me. I want you to hear me stronger now than you've ever heard me. Strange Darling.
Okay.
All right, we're watching that this Friday.
Yeah, I want to watch that movie.
Yeah.
The way they do the chapters will
I have to buy it now, but I'm going to buy it on
make
Friday.
you love chapters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please
I'm
check
excited.
it out. Yeah.
So let's move on to some specialty flavors. We're going to go big and bold buffalo chicken. Oh! Woo! Oh yeah.
Jump scare.
It's the ring.
I want to talk about tracking. We already talked about that a little bit, right? But okay, first of all, what's that? Okay, she's got those sophisticated machines that she's tracking the video with at one point. What's that meter that's like going off the rails when she's trying to do the tracking with
I
the
know,
page?
what is
I
that
want to know
VU
more
meter?
about that meter because it's going to the max. It's redlining. And I want to know, like, is she and then the kind of the tracking machine just kind of explodes when you track too hard. You've tracked too hard.
And she hits the print screen right before she tracks too hard.
Right.
And she gets that final shot, that first shot of the lighthouse or whatever.
Yeah.
I will say this. It is unrealistic. So when you track, basically, she's tracking horizontally, and she tracks to the right, and it bends in, right? Realistically, what you'd see on that next one is just the next frame. You wouldn't see more of the tape that you can't see.
Right.
However, however, I do understand that there's a supernatural element to this, and that could be something that Samara could have added to this. But I will say, if you were to do that on VCR, I used to sell VCRs, so I
At
know
Circuit
way
City,
more
right.
than anyone else in the world does. It's like I don't know shit. Anyway, you would just see the next frame. But
Yeah, you don't. It's up and down tracking. It's usually because
Yeah.
usually the
right.
like
Yeah.
it's
Then
going
you see
up
like
and
the
down.
audio tracks. But I will say this, Nick, I love, so you were just talking about you like a countdown. I love kind of maybe a tangential effect to that. I love in a movie where they need to use increasingly more sophisticated equipment to analyze something, right? So she starts, she's in the newsroom, she's got the thing where the digital things get scrambled, and she's like, what's going on here? Then she goes to her ex-husband's house, who he's sort of like the video
better
guy.
equipment.
He's got the
Yeah.
better
Yeah,
equipment.
yeah,
She's
right.
there. And then that's when she's like, "Here, let me do it." And she like moves the thing too much, and then the young
They overtracked.
They overtracked. The young
damn it.
Always
Then she goes to
Overtracking.
that fucking laboratory, like
Right.
the best. They got the wall of
The top
equipment.
notch.
That nerdy chick's like, "We got all kind of stuff here. What are we
I
watching?"
know. She's like, get out of here.
The nerdy chick wants to.
Come on.
Chick wants to see it. Really, she's like, "What
I'm
are we
watching some
watching?"
weird shit
She
here.
goes, "I'd like to watch it alone." She's like, "Fine."
Yeah, she does really give her some tude.
I love that character. But anyway,
Latitude.
she's got the best of the best equipment. We're all thinking like, all right, we're gonna fucking get to the bottom of this. And she finds the fly. Remember she
Oh,
finds
that
she
was going to be
paused
the
the
next
video.
one.
She
That
paused
was
the
literally going
video.
to be my
Okay,
next
okay.
pocket.
Let's stop.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
go
Let's
back.
just go. It's straight chicken. This
Okay,
is the straight
sure.
chicken.
Straight
and I thought
chicken.
that was great foreshadowing.
Yeah.
I thought that the way she pulled the fly out of the screen was, guys, I have to say, like, seriously, I really hate that I knew that there was going to be some, girl climbing out of a TV
Yeah.
screen at the end of this movie.
I see.
There's
Yeah.
no fucking way around
I hate
it.
that you knew that too.
Yeah, that's
man.
And if I didn't know
wish you
that,
could have
I'm
not
telling
known
you,
that.
This
it would've
movie had to be the most
I would have
parodied
rated
movie.
it higher.
when she
Yeah.
I
fucking
would've
came
rated
out of
it
that TV screen in the theater,
that must have been
I was just like,
unbelievable.
oh, it was like the end of Blair Witch.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you're just
Yeah.
like, it just hits you, and you're
And
like,
I was like, when's it coming? When's it coming? The
damn it.
whole time. You know what's so
sucks.
funny? Because it didn't come to like 10 minutes left, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like when we
Yeah,
were
if
like,
that.
when there was like 15 minutes left in the movie, I was like, what the fuck? Did I like misremember what this
Misremember.
movie's
Yeah.
about? And I was like, no, they're going to throw the twist on and here it comes.
Fun fact about that: they filmed it backwards, so she seems more herky jerky.
oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool. So good.
Did you guys do like tracking on your VCR? Do you remember that? There was, like, a tracking.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got one with an auto tracking.
I had one of those too. but
Damn.
Not to brag.
I had a pro scan that let you kind of do some more advanced stuff.
Those are probably all over the Goodwill shelves now.
Yeah, I haven't seen a pro scan in a long
Pro
time.
scans are not.
Pro scan. Pro scan. You find a pro scan that's worth money.
Yeah.
Here's I think we're going to just go solid steak and cheddar. This is, when we're talking Hot Pocket, we're talking USDA choice.
Absolutely.
Well marbled. It's not Wagyu beef.
no,
But
but
it's
it's
American.
no, but it's high quality.
It's American grown.
It's delicious. It's not some kind of Japanese.
It's not. And these aren't these old cows that Hot Pocket uses. They use young, well marbled.
It goes well
Cows.
with cheese. Wait,
Yes.
am I missing a joke?
There's no joke.
I'm just
no.
trying to get Hot Pocket to
Old
sponsor.
cow.
us.
I'm just trying to talk up the beef, man.
Yeah, I'm
the
I'm
Hot
with
Pocket
you.
beef. I'm just saying
here
it's
with
good beef.
you. I'm here with you.
I'm saying it's good beef. I think if some of the nation's leading steakhouses could even get their hands on Hot Pocket beef, they probably would serve it for hundreds of dollars.
I heard
per
there was a
ounce.
restaurant in Texas that was buying Hot Pockets in bulk and extracting the meat and then selling the meat in their
I'm sure
restaurant
that's true.
as a separate
That's
item.
where Wagyu beef came from.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm
I made
also
that- I made that.
starting a thrash metal band called Hot Pocket Beef. If anyone wants to be in that band,
What instrument do you need played?
we need a marimba.
Wow, that's an interesting
Wow.
thrash band.
Oh Lord, where are we? I don't think we've done a chicken bacon ranch.
Chicken bacon ranch.
Oh no, we didn't even do the steak and cheddar.
I was like,
jeez, we didn't even do the whole fucking steak and cheddar. Thank you, Ben. Yes, it's the beef. It's good beef. That's all I'm trying to say. And we're going to talk about the music on this steak. And
So excited.
And you know who it was? The man. I didn't even know it was the man. The
My
man.
boy.
Who was it, Gris?
It was Hans Zimmer. He's my man.
Absolutely.
He's my boy.
Yep.
Yep.
Great.
And honestly, I didn't know that until after I saw the movie, and I thought the music was good. I thought it was, kind of the ambient sort of droning stuff was appropriate. I thought it became sort of thunderous at times when it needed to, ramp up the dramatic tension, and that was nice. And I thought there was kind of some creepy piano, like the kind of what it's playing in the credits, kind of just that droning piano. I mean, I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I think that the fact when I learned after the fact it was Hans Zimmer, then I was like, oh, now I'm going to give it more credit.
He's using the strings perfectly just to give you that unease. Oh, it's so good.
It wasn't your classic Hans Zimmer score.
It did
It
not
wasn't.
feel- That's
It
why
wasn't.
I was thrown off. I was
Yeah.
like, this sounds really good. And I literally paused it and looked it up, and I was so excited to see it was Zimmer.
It kind of shows his flexibility.
Yeah.
I remember I was like about halfway through. I was like, I'm going to try to guess the composer, and I thought James Newton Howard, and then maybe James Horner, and it was Hans Zimmer. I was like, oh, that's
So good.
not his typical fare. It was very ethereal, very kind of like horror. Typically, he does action stuff or thrillers and sci-fi stuff. So it was really good, and the sound design on
was
top
good.
of that too. The
Yeah,
sound
good.
design was super good as well.
Yep.
I think that added to the ambiance for sure.
Agree. Okay, I think we've done 4 cheese pizza, right? But we haven't done 5 cheese.
Nope.
There's the extra cheese. I don't know what the extra cheese
you-
is.
oh, I was
Can
gonna
we,
say.
Producer Ben, could you get on
Yeah,
that
I'll get
extra
on
cheese
that.
for us? I feel like it's probably like a rigatoni. Or that's a noodle, actually.
It's
Well, I
definitely
meant to
rigatoni. It's a 4 cheese rigatoni.
I think it's a penne.
Wait, is that a new? I don't know what
penne.
that is. It's an Italian word.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a brie, is what actually it might
No,
be.
remember I
cheese?
said brie and we were like
Maybe a little
that
goat
won't be
cheese
good
sprinkled
there.
in.
It wasn't brie.
Parmesan,
Could be
Parmesan-
maybe it's just
Parmesan
a blue,
crust?
It's just some sort
Parmesan
of
crust?
blue cheese.
blue cheese.
Yeah, something.
Did we
like that.
ranch blast that?
No.
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 Is that too much?
How dare you?
Too much dairy.
All right, you want to know?
What? Yeah.
Parmesan, Romano, cheddar, reduced fat provolone, and reduced fat mozzarella.
Oh, you got to reduce that fat on at least 2 of them.
Oh man, Can we get a full fat option
Yeah.
on the hot
on
pocket?
both of those.
I mean,
yeah.
this isn't a lean pocket, for God's sake.
Yeah, it's a
goodness
fucking
sakes.
5 cheese. For
Come on.
crying out
This
loud.
This is America,
Let's
goddammit.
go.
So, as a 5 cheese, why was Naomi Campbell like harassing the shit out of that horse?
Naomi
that was,
Naomi Watts.
Or, sorry, Naomi. Sorry, Naomi's famous.
I've made
Naomi's.
that same mistake many times, yes.
Naomi Campbell,
She was
Naomi Watts. She was harassing the horse.
I know, just
and
back
I was
away.
like, I was just like, and she kind of made this horse itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna
Not
have to
good.
bleep that word, Ben. Sorry.
Nah, you don't.
Good.
She
That horse
she
doesn't know
should have
you did.
backed away after the first one. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was kind of her fault. you
Yep.
know.
Yeah,
She egged it on
She
for sure.
made the horse unalive
And
itself.
it was kind of
That's what I
it was
meant to
kind of
say.
weird
Got
too
it.
because
Rewind it. Yep.
this is far down her journey of peril. She's many days in. She's going to die soon.
Yeah,
Her whole
she's 4 or
world's turned
5 days
upside
in.
down.
Yeah, right,
She's on this ferry, and then all of a sudden it's almost like she's trying to console herself. Like, let me just go over here. And
Well,
talk
it
to
was
this
very
horsey.
odd. She's
Yeah.
like, yeah. And then the horse freaks out. And then all those people, okay, the horse goes nuts, jumps off the boat. And everyone's like, let's run to the other side and see what happens.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck did you
What could
expect was
possibly
going to happen?
happen? What could
And all
happen
these
here?
children are screaming and people are wailing. It's like, yeah, of course they're going to get chopped up in the fucking propeller. The best case, it's going to struggle drowning.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's like, what? Why are you letting your children watch this? Just let-
But why was it still such a good scene, man? It was so.
It was very unsettling.
So unsettling. Ugh.
So doesn't even warrant a new Hot Pocket. But did you guys notice I thought it was kind of clever. The fly, right? The fly comes out of the. Doesn't that signifies death, right? The flies.
The fly does.
Flies around
Dead.
dead. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was like kind of a nice touch.
Okay, because I had a question because later there's a later scene where Noah's going to some records room and he sees a fly on the door that he's about to go through.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
I wondered.
it was a death motif.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
interesting.
that's
Yeah.
a little visual
kind of
cue.
occurred to me. Okay, we're going for big beef taco. We're talking Big Daddy Cox.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
My
I had
namesake
no
Brian.
idea he was in this movie.
My namesake
until
Brian.
an hour into the movie, and then
Yeah.
fucking Brian Cox shows up. I was going to give this movie a 35.
Wow.
And then Big Daddy Cox comes out, And I'm like plus 25 points.
He's so good.
And there it
He's
is.
so good in this
It's,
movie.
you know what? It's the Cox factor, right?
Cox factor.
The Cox factor is like it's plus 25.
Cox conundrum.
pretty
Cox
much
factor is
every
always a
time.
plus 25 minimum.
I'm surprised.
minimum.
I'm
Minimum.
surprised this isn't your beef taco.
It is.
It is.
He literally just
is
said
the beef taco.
Yeah,
This
I think
is
it's
it, sir.
I think it's the Cox conundrum, man. This is great.
The
I love
Cox
this guy.
factor. It's because he's going to play an intriguing character.
He's always great.
He's kind of like a Robert De Niro. He commands the screen when he's on it.
He's a commander.
There's a reason he's in the movie, and oh my goodness, he's so good. He brings gravitas to the movie. He's just so good.
Can we just talk about Brian Cox for a
Yeah,
little
let's
bit?
talk about him.
So I feel like, what other great Brian Cox films are there?
I mean,
Troy.
I'm sorry, but
Troy.
I have my
That's a
favorite.
Well, I know what your favorite is. Clearly, it's another war epic, right?
Yeah,
yeah. It's called
in my,
Braveheart.
Yeah, it's in my
Braveheart.
top 5 favorite movies of all time, and it's Uncle
It's one of the
Argyle.
greatest
give that
fucking
a
movies
rewatch
ever.
soon.
First, I'll teach you to use thus. Then I'll teach
then
you to
this.
use thus.
Yes, it's
So good.
It's so good.
Dodgeball.
Dodgeball.
Yep. He's versatile. He's
How about,
versatile.
can I throw it? How about Long Kiss Goodnight?
Oh yeah.
A underrated classic. How about the whole Bourne trilogy?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
for sure. I forgot he was in that too.
God, he's just absolutely. How about those McDonald's commercials? But
Yeah.
Good for him. Succession, of course.
Succession.
So good.
Succession.
He was so good.
What a fucking
Yeah,
badass.
he's really, really good.
Can I say what my favorite line of dialogue from Mr. Cox was?
Oh, I have mine. Let's see if they're the same.
Oh gosh, yeah. Let's
Yeah,
see if we can
it's
find
got to
some.
be the same one.
Is it the one about
It's-
reporters?
No,
Really?
no.
Okay. You read yours then.
No, I
I'll read
didn't.
Mine
mine.
is
go
when
ahead.
he's in his house with Naomi Watts,
Watts.
and it's kind of like she's kind of grilling him, and he kind of walks up to her, and he's got that kind of that hook in his hand.
He's
you know?
cleaning his boots off.
He's
with the
cleaning
hook.
hook.
his boots off.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, the minute I'm done with one thing, slam! He slams it down.
Scary, dude.
Another thing needs fixing.
Dude,
Oh.
just think if he
Ooh.
was your grandpa. Think how scared you'd be as a little kid when
Cox.
grandpa's got the
That's Cox power.
Cox power.
Yes, sir.
Mine was when he's just, it's a little bit less, poignant than that, but he's just kind of dealing with, these reporters have come out to him before, and Naomi, Rachel's back out again, and he's like, what is it with reporters? You take one person's tragedy and force the world to experience it, spread it like sickness.
Yeah, I remember
Cynical
that
man.
one.
Cynical man.
Tying back to the whole spreading
love that
the
shot.
tape to
Spreading
survive.
the tape, yeah.
Guy's a national fucking treasure.
It sure is.
Jalapeno steak and cheese. We're gonna keep it spicy, and we're gonna keep it spicy with. Did you guys know? I'm very curious if you guys noticed this. You probably did because you're smart. You're smart, fellas.
To a certain extent.
Did you notice kind of the Japanese sort of the allusions to a couple of Japanese things in the film that I'm sure were kind of a homage to?
Well,
the
they had the
original
Japanese
film?
writing when Noah's rifling through the
Yeah,
case
paperwork.
file.
Yeah.
Is it the
another one.
Japanese cherry blossom tree? The red,
At
the red
Cox's
tree?
house.
That
At
was
Cox's
a,
house.
Yeah.
Yes.
Japanese maple.
Yes, he's
Yeah.
got like kind of the traditional Japanese art with the kanji on it.
You know that the fruit of that Japanese maple is called samara?
Oh, yeah,
cool.
Nice.
Hmm.
I thought you were going to say it was called the Cox.
Was the kid's name Samara in the original too?
No, it was something similar. It started with an S. It was
Yeah.
it wasn't Samara, but it was like
That's interesting. That's an
Suzuki
interesting
or something
tie
like
back,
that.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other. Did we get them all, Nick?
I only
Okay,
had those
sure.
two, but I thought that was kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
that was intentional. Intentional. Okay. What are we moving on to next? Did you guys know? Oh, you know what? There's actually now this is limited edition. Okay, and I don't know if we've ever heard of this. Okay, because when I saw it, I was like,
Shepherd's pie.
no. That's on the way. 2025.
Yes.
They're taking suggestions on social media. Any
they?
new flavors? Yeah.
Okay.
Did you guys know they're doing a spinach and artichoke?
I would so eat that.
I
That
would
sounds delicious.
so eat that. It's
Right up
sounds
your alley, buddy.
delicious.
I might have to get those.
And for this, we're going to talk about children in scary movies because a lot of times children are used as a
Yeah.
scary thing, right? As a sort of a fear device.
You've
Like, it's
you've got like a child's voice, like da, 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 da.
yeah,
Some
exactly.
kinda-
You
yeah.
got Poltergeist and The Sixth
There's
Sense.
something
and
weird about
you
that.
got this
Exorcist.
Yeah.
Exorcist. You got this long legacy of children sort of being creepy or scary.
Annabelle.
And I do not find children frightening or scary or creepy. I think they're just little rascals. They're just little drooling machines that don't know what's really even happening. They're just drunk little humans.
Drunk little humans.
And I just don't find them frightening because they're also just very physically small and unintimidating.
Yeah, why?
You just feel like you could kick him. Yeah.
He's like, I could beat up that baby.
But look at this child. Like, I'm not okay. She's got scary hair. Is that going to hurt me?
You're right. How did that become a trope in horror movies? It's like if there's anything that's not scary, it's a little kid.
One of our past
Right.
episodes.
Well, that's kind of the
Resident Evil. When we talked about Resident Evil, and the daughter is the AI voice for the facility. That's super creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
know.
it's kind of a thing. I
It's
don't
something
know.
weird about
the
the
twins in The
dichotomy.
Shining.
Yeah, the twins in The Shining. That's what I think of.
It's the juxtaposition of like innocence with
Yes.
evil,
Yep.
I guess.
You're just not
But
expecting it.
It's just not.
But now I feel like
scary.
we are expecting it
It's
because
just
it's
not,
been done so
The
much.
Shining, was kind of I feel like kind of the one that really set that off.
Yep.
And did it probably the best.
Yeah.
Just little creepy kids. And just not scary. Michael Myers, he's this big ass guy with a big knife. I feel like he can hurt me.
That's way scarier.
He
to me.
can choke me. He can choke slam me like The Rock.
Choke me, daddy.
Yeah.
Wait.
But Ben, nothing's been ranch blasted yet. Okay.
Ben's chomping at the bit over there.
Yeah, what are you doing?
All right. Okay.
That was you. That was you saying that.
We'll ranch blast something for you.
Yeah. Let's
All right.
quell Ben's desire for
cutting that
ranch.
out.
We've got a big bold steak
No,
nacho
he-
coming here.
He said that.
A big bold steak. I didn't say anything. I said big bold steak nacho. We could put a little ranch on it.
Just a little bit, just like a
Sprinkle
just a
some
squirt,
ranch.
just a squirt of ranch.
Let's just ranch season it a little bit.
So I'm at minus 10 points for Cox killing himself.
Really?
Yeah, because he's out of the movie. And so I'm no longer
guess, but
interested.
he went out with
Yeah,
a fucking
but
bang.
what a
Did you
way to
see
go
that, dude?
out.
He went out but
With the horse collar?
Yeah, what a way to go
He
out.
went out, but does Cox go out any other way than like an absolute boss?
You like how he brought all the stereo equipment in there and the recording equipment, and it's just lined up on the wall, and you're like,
Nick,
he's just plugging it all in.
Cox goes out the way he decides to go out.
he chooses it.
You think
And
he
I
gave
guarantee-
suggestions on
I
that?
bet the script said like, he just like stabs himself or shoots
Yeah.
himself. Or something. Cox is like, I'm going to take 35 radios,
Yeah.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to hook myself up
35.
to a power strip.
Yep.
And I'm going to take a bath.
I'm going to destroy you.
And then we're going to see what happens when I flick that switch on.
Yeah.
And it
I'm
turns
telling
red.
You, he could have got stabbed like a chump, but no.
my God.
On his own terms.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da.
Cut to black.
Okay. What's next? Did we do jalapeno steak and cheese? We did.
We did
think
something
so, yeah.
jalapeno
Something
related.
was spicy. How about Italian style
We haven't done that yet.
with a meatball? With a meatball marinara.
Just one meatball in it.
Just
You just feel it from the outside,
it's
and you can
chopped
feel
up.
here's where the meatball's at inside of it.
It's chopped up. Here's something I thought this movie did really well. It had this sort of bad dream quality in a way that I felt that very few other movies replicate. It had this sort of like surreal element, even in the quote unquote real parts of the movie, not watching the tape or whatever. And I thought it did that. And part of it was, frankly, like the filters and that kind of stuff, like really sort of lent itself to just feeling a bad dream the whole time. But to me, that's something that worked really well for me. It felt like a bad dream. I don't know.
We talked about the sun shining through the red leaves on that tree and dousing the inside of the Shelter Mountain Inn with the red. I mean, that stuff's like very, very dreamlike. Yeah.
Yep. The super hyper realistic imagery, all that. You talk about the room at the end where it seemed like any window was like a projected huge shot. I don't know if you noticed that, Ben, but like a lot of them were just like wildly painted-esque, like sunsets or sunrises or whatever it was. And then it bled through to show that on their faces.
Especially towards the end.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, when they're in the cabin with the well.
It's like as their minds become more and more towards this depth. Do you think they slept in those 7 days? Probably not. If you know it's coming,
Yeah,
you're going to be
geez. How
fucking
do you-
going nuts.
can you
so I
sleep?
think by that point, you're totally hallucinating. So
Yeah.
Okay, I just got a couple more Hot Pockets left here, guys. Chicken parm. Classic.
Classic.
Classic. That plastic bag over the head killing, it's savage. It's a savage way to go. And here's what I thought was super smart about that I kind of caught. It obscures your face, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like the camera, right?
Yeah, the camera,
the
blurry cameras.
distorts your face.
Yeah. Good call.
yeah, nice.
Yeah, I thought that was just a nice touch. What do we have now? There's not a whole lot left here, guys. Big and bold spicy chicken. We're gonna spice it up a little bit.
Like a southern spicy
We're
chicken.
going a lot of spicy tonight.
Yeah, well, you gotta keep it
Gonna
spicy.
need a
Hot
Tums.
Pocket.
Gonna need a Tums later.
I love. And here's
you don't
here's
need
where
a
it is.
Tums.
This
Come
is-
on,
this
man
is-
up.
Yeah, man up. We're going to keep it
We're in our
spicy. And
40s.
we're going to talk about
Swallow that
kind of
heartburn.
the twist in the end, right?
Yeah.
I think we need to just kind of cover that. First of all, I loved how they waited till the very end to sort of reveal the monster.
Loved
you
it.
know, that's always is kind of the best way to do it.
Yep.
I thought the kind of the twist itself though was it was so obvious. Even stopping the movie and knowing there was 20 minutes left, I was like, there's going to be some stupid twist at the, like I knew there was a twist coming. It didn't hide it in any smart way. Like after she kind of pulls the body out of the well, and then it kind of had this false ending.
But don't you feel like that? Didn't you think that was going to be the twist when that was happening? You were thinking, oh, she
solved
saves
it.
her,
Yeah.
and so that's how. I mean,
She ends the
were you
game.
not tricked by that?
No, because she hadn't climbed out of the fucking TV yet.
Oh, see, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Is that
That's
you
the
knew
problem.
that scene was
You knew
coming.
it.
If
That's
you
the
didn't know
problem.
the scene was coming, the twist
You're right.
would have been better.
You're right.
Yeah.
It would have been. You're right. You're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
I feel like, man, I don't know. Do you think that it being memed to death really affected people's reviews of
Anybody
For sure.
knew?
this?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Especially
If you-
like
I don't know. All
audience.
those new reviews from audience were all positive in the last 4 or 5 years.
Let me just speak to. I'm just speaking right
So,
now
but
because,
yeah.
like you've already agreed that it'd be like knowing if that Bruce Willis was dead when you watch Sixth Sense.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
that would ruin it. That would take away from the movie. And I feel like knowing that the girl was going to come out of the TV is what took the good twist away from me. Because for me, there was a huge twist at the end of this movie. Huge twist, and it was way better than the Saw twist. I'm sorry, but I know everybody loves the Saw twist. Ring twist, way better.
Yeah.
Earned.
Fair enough. Okay, that's all I got, guys.
Wow.
That's our hot pocket.
That's it.
Yeah, I had fun.
Another fun fact: the Ringu house that they originally, like from the first one, is they tried to mimic that same house in The Grudge.
That did feel like a very similar house. A lot of dark
Yeah.
wood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Anyway, I'll
The
cut that
Grudge.
out. But like, I just wanted to say it out loud.
Sorry, I'm sorry I brought that up.
So, closing thoughts, guys. I'll start. Solid horror movie. I didn't think it was like a great horror movie, and I will completely acknowledge if I would have seen it or saw it 20 years ago, I would have rated this 10, 20 points higher probably. The knowing the ending already hurt the movie for me. I'm sorry, it did, and there's nothing I can do about that. I still thought it was a pretty creepy, dreadful movie. I would recommend it as a horror movie, and I think it holds up pretty well today. But I wouldn't call it like some sort of classic or something like that.
Yeah, overall, I think this movie is really. I mean, I scored an 82. It held up a lot more than I thought it would. Beautifully shot. Hans Zimmer, can't say enough good things about that guy. So, all those things, just visually, it was stunning. I thought the story was really interesting. I think the world building was really wildly unique. I thought so. It was just really neat to just like slowly but surely learn a little bit more each time. So that just kept me intrigued the whole way. And then just the creep factor of this entire film, the dread that we talked about, just kept me really just on edge the whole way through. So
High quality
appreciate
craft, really great cohesion, atmospheric, vibey movie that is rewatchable. And it's probably my top 25 horror movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
damn, high praise. All right.
Yeah. Good
What we
movie.
got?
Pretty good movie.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, dear listener. We had a lot of fun tonight
Yeah.
talking about The Ring. We're going to do another episode. It's not going to be a horror movie. Well,
It depends on your
depends on your political ideology.
affiliation.
Yes. We're going to be doing Reagan. Reagan with Dennis Quaid. And dare I say, this is going to be our biggest gapper of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get on Rotten Tomatoes and check out
let's just-
where it's at.
Yeah,
It's,
we'll just-
it's a real critical mess. Yeah,
Yeah.
living up to the name of the
Biggest
show.
disparity by far.
So we're excited to talk about that next time. And
Yeah.
social media, we're
Visit
on
us on criticalmasspodcast.com. Just go there.
That's
Yep,
it.
That's
Everything.
right. And we're on YouTube. Please watch us on YouTube. We're
Yep.
filming this.
Yep.
Yeah. I have black socks on. Come on.
Oh,
Yeah.
I do this for you.
for the
you.
people.
Let us
For
know
you.
what socks Nick needs to wear next time.
We
Yes,
got
please.
all kinds of options. Anyways, thank you so much for listening. We love doing this, and we'll do it again.
See ya.
Later.